Let the chaos reign. And now, this is Chaos Reign presents 5 reasons why you ain't being chosen. Summertime Edition 2020. Broadcast June the 21st, 2020.
All right, everybody. You know what music I'm about to play. You know it's 2020, and it's going to be a hot.
The views expressed on Talk Real Solutions, hosted by Tyrone Thompson at TalkRealSolutions.com, are the views of Tyrone Thompson and do not reflect the views of TalkRealSolutions.com, YouTube, or etc. The content here belongs to Talk Real Solutions and its many contributors. Views and opinions expressed by all contributors belong to them and not TalkRealSolutions.com or Tyrone Thompson, the host, or etc. All data and information provided on the site is for informational purposes only. Talk Real Solutions makes no representations as to accuracy, completeness, correctness, suitability, or validity of any information on this site and will not be liable for any errors, omissions, or delays in this information or any losses, injuries, or damages arising from its display or use. All information is provided on an as-is basis.
In a world where there's crime, corruption, violence, murder, rape, death, and all forms of atrocities that plagues the world in which we live in today, what you're witnessing, we are living in a state of chaos, and it will take a greater or much extremer chaos to restore the order in which the world we live in today. Good evening, black people. This is Chaos here. And tonight, I guess the subject's dealing with, why you haven't been chosen. I might give my scenario to this. I'm hoping as my good friend comes on tonight, he'll go into more in depth. But, this is the summertime. This is now officially summertime. 2020. That special edition. And, I can recall back, even on this YouTube channel I'm on, I have dealt with the first time when I did the first summertime broadcast. It was good, it was popping, I would say. But, a new year, a different situation. But before we begin, I'd like everybody to go to TalkRealSolutions.com. On the TalkRealSolutions.com, you'll see the 3-point plan for Black Empowerment, Black Achievement. On the website, there are the latest articles, news that's going around here here in America and potentially abroad. As you know, Thursdays is the news part of T.R.S, where they go through various news articles that is trending throughout social media and all parts of the internet. So if you're not tuning in on Thursday evenings around 9 o'clock, I believe, that's where T.R.S. Thompson does, the news. Him and his female assistant, her name is Miss Lady, I'm not sure if it's her, but they go in and read the articles personally and they give their take on what's out here from, the reader's standpoint. You can also find this channel on Facebook as well, and I think it's titled, let me check if I find it, Talk Real Solutions on Facebook. So join the group, because there's a lot of things in the group that's, I would say, trendy, interesting, and kind of funny, too, I like to say to myself. So that is also on Facebook. You'll catch this broadcast and replay on Facebook. We also got the YouTube channel, Talk Real Solutions, as well. All the videos that we have done so far is on YouTube as well. So check that out. And like I always know, my broadcast and many others that I've done up to this point, you will find mostly on my channel. If you type in Chaos Reign, that's the YouTube channel that I go live and I post some of the episodes on there as well. Let me see what else is up here. Let me think. Yeah, I think that's pretty much it. So, and also there's a donation tab on the website. So if you want to donate to Talk Real Solutions, feel free to give wherever you can. Contributions to the show. All right. So let me open this up. I'm trying to find I'm trying to open my screen a little bit. I would say a word for advice for people that are going to do live streams or any form of content, whether doing videos or doing on YouTube. My recommendation to all up-and-coming people that's doing, any form of video broadcasting, you want to invest in a desktop or a laptop that has, I would say, more than 8 gigs of RAM and 3 or more gigahertz processor. And if you're doing videos or saving them, you want a terabyte hard drive. So you want to invest in those components. And the reason I'm giving you this little game is because for many things people are doing, and I can see on a lot of live streams, they sometimes pause, stagnate because they can't open a browser or do anything while on live air, and it causes stagnation. And the best way to resolve stagnation to what you're doing is to get a better quality machine. Now, most people that are gamers, they don't have these issues because they invest the money to get the necessary machine, to get the real optimal performance out of their PCs or laptops. So this is a little game for all y'all that's going to do this, any form of YouTube in the future. That's the best thing to do, and that's the best start. So, okay. Let me see if I can find this. The title of tonight's show trying to pull up. Okay, let me see. Let's pull this up. All right, the 5 reasons why you're not chosen. Now, this is my rundown of the 5 things that why, if I find a lot of women, young or a little older, why they're not being picked by the right type of mate, even go as far as getting a ring on it. And this is going to be a very touching subject, and I know I'm going to get a lot of hate, a lot of backlash, possibly, but you know, it is what it is. And as y'all know, one of the things that I could say that I jot down, and there's only one, but I'll probably come up with the others. The first one, hold on. The first one is one of the reasons why you're not chosen is potentially you put on too much weight, or other words, you're too fat. Now, I've noticed this only applies to the men that are of means, that is making, I would say, roughly over 6 or greater figures, making roughly maybe more than $250K a year, roughly in the 300 range and greater. Most men, and people could really look at this and examine this closely, and there is pretty much very less exceptions to the rule, but a man that's making banking almost $1 million a year, or over a quarter million, their mates who they pick, on the average, and mostly this is the norm and average, are mostly smaller and a little bit more women that are more skinnier or sometimes petite. Anyway, and what I mean by petite, some women, or young women, or older women, could range from under 125 pounds to roughly close to 110. Some are very much like stick figures, very petite. But normally the average weight for most women, not in America, but the ones that are, you know, in regards to what they label health-wise and much more a reasonable body weight, is 125. And usually women that is that of less weight, normally, and depending on their height, but usually most of them are not really over 5'5" on average like that, that they don't really have sometimes hard time maybe snagging a very much well-to-do man that is probably, I would say, in the quest to being wealthy or getting up there in wealth for himself. They don't have much of a problem getting that type of quality man. Now, mind you, some women that are maybe that weight might not still get snagged up like that, because the other thing, there is what we call a level system. And I'll call this level system from a scale of 1 through 10. As you know, 10s are the dime piece. That means women that are 10 and that look like a 10, not only on face, but also body, will pretty much get any man they want, even to the point that some men will go as far as marry these dimes within less than 6 months. And if you're a woman that has a face that's below 6, but your body is like subpart up there of a 10, you have a great chance to still get a ring on it. That's have a greater chance, because, you know, one on the average sometimes might outweigh the other, because, you know, like I said, usually women that's not too big and they carry themselves a certain way, if they're a little bit more feminine, if their face doesn't look all that good, they could still win in a way. In a way, it'd be more challenging a little bit, but they could still win because they don't put on too much weight to outweigh their looks, you know. And usually with the power of makeup, you know, makeup could do a lot of things to fix that. So, like I said, the weight is number one, major problem. I would say the second one would be the attitude. I mean, a lot of women nowadays, they're boisterous and they have so much attitude. And at times, they don't know how to control that in front of not only their mates, but in front of others. I mean, you see some are so nasty to some people for whatever reason. And no matter if they look very cute or over an 8, they will lose a point down just by the attitude alone because no one wants to be around nasty or stinky attitude chick, you know, to cuss people out like it's something special. And it's not attractive, it's not cute, you know. And normally most young women that have a potty mouth, they might get some dude, but at the end of the day, I could get no actual competent man that's doing real good for himself to really go all the way to say, you know, maybe I should settle down with this chick or put a ring on it. Nah, you ain't going to get that. You'll probably get some nice dick and balls from the average Joe, you know, and then it'll keep pushing, you know, just by the attitude alone, you know. And trust me, no man can't create no attitude of a woman on the average unless, you know, he's that dude that demands respect. And depending on how she views and respect that man, she'll get it on the average. But normally they don't. They won't. They'll still act as though like it's nothing. They'll carry on like it's nothing. They will embarrass not only him but herself. And, you know, they move on and carry on life like it's normal. So the attitude, yeah, that has to really change. You know, that's one reason why you're not being chosen. Number 3, I would say, if I can remember good, I would say the company that a lot of women keep. I know a lot of women have these girlfriends, and depending on the circle you keep, they could easily make you and keep you single. And the reason why, because other girls that don't have mates or are married or successful in relationships will go around and tell you how to conduct your relationships with your man or how to carry out. And as you see, and a lot of women have never learned this, that you see, if you're paying attention to your friend and trying to learn off what she's doing, either right or wrong with her life or her relationship, and try to marry that into yours, you're going to bound to repeat the same problems, and you're going to be just as lonely as her. And you know, most sisters will hurt other sisters in regards to their progress in the, I would say, the dating scene, or looking into relationships or find a mate. Besides that, some you might have one of them friends, ladies, that has a very loose womb, and she wants to have sex with everything that moves, including screwing your man. And trust me, that's happened before. And, you know, some women get mad at the man, but never really knows that you have a friend that is very loose to her womb, that she'll just sleep with any man. If a man looks like he's productive or doing something, she'll sit there coerce him into the sex, you know. And it happens, you know. Trust me. It happens to the best of us, you know. Hey, I wish we can control it better, but, you know, if women want some, you know, some cock, you know, she'll get it, you know. But like I said, if you have a friend or know a friend that's like that, you're close to that, cut her off. Cut her off, because most likely she's going to wind up sleeping with your man. And hell, if you and her don't have good connection, she might sit there just take your man, for all we know, if she got like that. Yeah. Can't hit the player, you got to hit the game. Number 4. I would say number 4 would be a lot of inconsistencies and or lies that you tell even going into the relationship. Now, I know ladies, they fake and believe that when they meet a man that sometimes they either question or not, is this the representation of him or is somebody else? And I hear enough that most dudes are living not only from ladies that double lie life, but they are not really being truthful who they are. And the best way to resolve that is with time. Questions would be the best thing to speed up time, but time alone will show what type of man you're dealing with. And I'm not saying that you sit there wait so many months and you have sex with him and then he turns left and change on you. No. You try to figure out who he is from the jump before you even go further to proceed and give him something. Because one thing is evident what happens in our relationships, including me, and I don't ask enough questions. We don't ask enough questions of what is the purpose, you know? Are you here for this and that? If they ask you number, you ask them why, and you give a good question. You just don't throw a why, but you just come honest with them, and then you question them. Start to have the mate or the male species think, because one thing that's evident. I told this to one young sister that you gotta get some of these dudes to start thinking logic. If they're gonna do something to you in a way, try to get your attention, or get your number or all that stuff, you ask them why, and not just why, but you really question, say, what's the purpose of you want to call me? These little things, because now you put him in a tight spot. Hell, you might put him against the wall. To sit there, have him have to really think long and hard to what response he's going to give to you. Where most likely, if he's a dude that's normally that wants to, or dusty that wants to just sleep with anything, he just want to get access to your coochie, then yes, he will do and say things just to hope to get in your pants. And once you start put your foot down now, before even it gets to that point, it's going to do one of two things: either make him pursue more to see that you're a serious woman and you want more than just the sex, or he'll be one of those dusty betas that is to turn around and keep it pushing. And say, well, she has so much question. I just want to get in the pants, so fuck you and all that stuff. These are the ways, ladies, to eliminate these types of men that just only want to get not only your number, but want to just get a quick fling in the bed. And, because we live in a hookup culture, most likely every man and woman wants to engage in pump and dump. So they'll do these things to get what they want from you. And after he gets that coochie, he's on to the next one. Hell, he might even go as far as depending how good you give him that sex, he might keep in a rotation. And trust me, ladies, I know on the average, most of y'all don't want to be on a rotation of a man. Hypothetically. You might want to put a rotation out for a man on the other shoe fit, but normally you as a woman, you don't want to be on no personal rotation unless you're controlling. And, I have a problem when both sex feel they should put each other on rotation to sit there, just only for sex because it's not productive, it's not constructive. Everybody knows sex is risky. And not only the disease aspect you have to worry about, but the potential of producing babies, which, the black community already complains about already. You don't want to add more problems to a situation that we already face as collective. So, questioning is the key to any man that wants your attention, And the fifth and last thing, or I should say one of the last things, is most men will not, they will do sex somewhat, because, now that you give up the pussy, they will take it. But one thing is not good to find is a woman that is very loosely, which I said previously, but in more detail. We just don't want no whore to be a wife. It's that simple. I see what most women complain about, how most of these dudes are marrying some of these women that are whores. And yes, I get it, but at the end of the day, if they are doing that, it's not going to last, because usually if you start in a relationship with sex, normally you're going to end it in which you started. It's that simple. It is that simple, And to be fair, honest, a woman that is very loose with her vagina, she will, if you're a man that's doing well and making six figures, most likely if you're going out making that bread, you might slip up, and most likely this doesn't happen, but let's say if it does, that she'll slip up and bring another man into the house that you're paying for, give him a blowjob, get her back going out, have him go out of business like there's nothing. And that's something no man does not respect or likes. To know that they're paying for not only your keep roof over your head, but paying for another dusty dude to get access to your vagina, and he has not put no money into the thing. Trust me, no man doesn't like that, ladies. They don't like it. That's like saying that they're housing another boy or another child that's not theirs. No man likes that. No, they don't like that. So, a very loose woman is a very dangerous woman. I mean, I think one time there was a story of, I remember, and if I told you this, how one chick was messing around with two different men. And I'm not sure her and the first man were fighting physically or verbally, what you want to call it. And lo and behold, a man comes into the same workplace that she works at, and I think he works there too, with a gun, trying to look for him to give or put 2 bullets in his dome. And trust me, no man should ever risk penitentiary chances just for over some vagina. No, that's not good. That's not good. But like I said again, when a woman's playing those games, and even go as far as some could be engaged in whorish activities, whether being, I guess, a sugar baby, or just being a straight whore and sleep on every dude in the community that she likes, can be problematic, very problematic, And, it's not even sexy either. So, but anyway, those are my 5 rundowns of why you're not being chosen. And let me just check something for a second. The number to call on to tonight's show is 712-770-4160. The access code is 915-411-pound. I repeat, 712-770-4160. Access code 915-411-pound. Tonight's subject, T.R.S. presents the 5 reasons why you're not being chosen. This is a summertime edition, 2020. Oh. Let's say it's the right one. Hold on, people. Yeah. What is this? This is not the right one at the time. Hold on, guys. I'm trying to find it. I'm trying to find. Hey, Tara, are you there? Yeah, this is not the video. What is this? Let me check my other thing, because I'm confused with it. I think this is the one. I might have to refresh my page because something just happened. Okay, it's the right one. All right, so we're good. I use my other computer. Yeah, so let me see if I can chat room. Okay, now we're in the chat room now. I guess everybody's enjoying their Father's Day. This is not bad. You know, another thing I did like, and I'm probably going to have him back on sometime next month, possibly. He did a piece deal with child support, the whole entirety, and how it's a predatory system that not only affects black men, but now I'm finding out that white men are not even liking the rules that's being implemented in regards to the amount of money they got to give in child support, which they pay child support the most because they got more money than black people in America, so obviously they're going to pay more. But the problem is that the thing, when it was established, if you knew the history of it was established because of them, because of their behaviors as a group of people. People forgot to say that child support is only 80-something years old, 85 years old now, when they first put it as in law and mandated, you know, that every mother that is in a family with her man and the man's role that is the father and provider to neglect his responsibilities of taking care of her and her child and going out to go find another woman, most likely a younger woman, that they let their children starve and let their wife starve because he decided to move on. And they don't want to give no compensation. And, you know, this is my thing about it. Child support has its purpose, but because of the economic situation in this country, it has now become predatory for the last 30 or more years. And I say this because when they start putting brothers on this, the child support, it almost hurts them more than anything else. Now, I'm not saying a man should be punished because he decides to have sex with his woman and his woman carry on the pregnancy and bring forth life, no. But the biggest issue is how they're not really balanced in regards to the payout or where the money goes and the interest in regards to child support. The mother of that child gets the pennies off the dollar than what she could have got fully if there was no interest playing where the courts get their cut and then she get the crumb. But like I said, a lot of women think emotionally when they either divorce or break out the relationship and put the man on child support. I mean, usually as a man, if she don't put you on it, or she put you on child support the first time and then she eventually takes you off it, this system still will keep a record that you're on it. And once she starts to put you back on, they will add the loss of revenue that they could have gotten with the interest when you're no longer paying that child support. And I find it very much problematic. I find it predatory because now you are robbing finance, not wealth, but finance from one man to and sending it to another, but not giving the actual full benefit, giving the recipient pennies from it because of the racketeering, you know. And my thing with a lot of men, that they're not really careful in not only the vetting process, which they should vet more instead of sit there pump and dump, but they should really be very selective on who they should have their children or their child going forward. I mean, I hear now some dudes that are making money, how they don't even want to engage and give a natural or a regular woman a child. I hear some want to go to the get what do they call those things? I forgot what they call it. I think it's something to do with, I don't know if it's a fraternity. No, it's not there. It's one of those things where, you know, you just give the seed to a woman and she carries for 9 months and then she signs out the rights to the father. That I'm talking about. I'm hearing conversation of that now from some fellas that doing well financially, that they might go that route because of the laws of this country. Now, me as a man, I said, okay, if you want to do that, I guess that's something, but I find it weird as a man that it goes back to where are you going to start socializing again? Because to sit there and say that you don't want to deal with no woman, deal no relationship, deal no family, and you just want her just to carry the baby, give you the baby, and then let her go off her business, it sounds very antisocial and very disconnect. Because, from their reason, they said the law is not in their favor, so it's better off they go that route so they don't have to confront the court or that woman. To me, I find it to be a cop-out. Hold on. And the reason I find that to be a cop-out because at the end of the day, you as a man, you have to sit there, provide something, and build something with the opposite sex. You're not always going to be doing this by yourself, and there's only one use of woman as the womb and the vessel just to give you that child so that way you could raise the child without the actual mother. Now, if the mother you chose and she's very disagreeable, then all means that you take full custody of that child and make her pay child support, which would make better sense. And think about this, which I did not know, that most women, if they're put on child support, they don't pay as much as the male. And I find that very odd. Even some of them that are doing very well, they won't be paying a lot in child support than if a man was put on it. So it lets me know that this predatory system is really designed to take out the male or the competition, which most likely is a black man, altogether, to give room to other groups of men to compete on a higher level while keeping the black man into a subordinate role. And I find that to be very wrong. Very wrong. Very wrong. One thing I would notice to say this, that because this is Father's Day, I hear a lot of mothers, single mothers, they be telling some foolishness to their sons saying that today I'm playing mommy and daddy role. And last time I checked, I don't see no other race of people or race of women say that or think like that. But when it comes to the Western black man and black woman, nothing ceases to amaze me anymore in regards to how they view themselves and the insanity of it all. One second. All right. So, it's just madness at the end of it. Madness. Unless you look at some of y'all women as stupid, they'll look at you as crazy, look at you as retarded. They can say that, oh, so you're both mommy and daddy in your child's life? And not only that, you confuse the child, the boy especially, you know what I'm saying, that if you play both roles, then obviously a role of a man is you, and how you carry yourself in a feminine way will condition that male to act and behave in a feminine manner as well. Now, most women don't want to do that, but that's what happens when you start to declare yourself as mother and father in your child's life. I mean, see, children are more receptive to what they see than what you're telling them, because you tell them one thing, you do something different, it confuses them. So they learn more from what they actually see. And they see you as a mother playing both roles and liking it. Then, to be honest with you, I don't know what to say. I mean, if your son comes out to be a homo, I mean, it is what it is. And one other thing I didn't say this, I didn't mention this earlier. In regards to educating our youth and the problems of how our children are receiving education, it's evident that when the woman is taking full custody role in it, not only putting food to the baby's bellies for what they learn, but the children, especially the males, don't live up to par in regards to preparedness for competing against the real world. And the reason why I find that alarming is because the average mother just don't care about how their son is going to function in this environment, much less learn the necessities to function and survive in this environment. And the only time a son will show relevance to a good more portion of sisters here is if their sons have the potential to make a lot of money to get them that house, that big house. But everybody knows there's only 1 out of 1,000 or more make it into the leagues. And if you train your son just to be the best receiver, thrower, catcher, shooter, dribbler, and if they don't make it, then what? I always ask the question, then what? Catch my drift? Good. So, at the end of the day, if you think about it, these are a few steps that, I said earlier that why you're not being chosen. And other things that will lead you that you might potentially be dying alone is very much high in this society. I mean, hell, if you look at the unemployment rate now in America, it's almost, it's like this. We have over 300 million people in this country, and almost a third or fourth or fifth of that is unemployed and looking work. So you tell me. At the end of the day, it doesn't make sense. Does it really make sense? I asked this, I questioned this. But hey, what do I know? What do I know? Let me check something else. Oh, I have one caller. So let me open this line. Hello?
Gary, what's going on?
Hey,
all right, so first and foremost, let me say happy Father's Day to all the fathers out there and all the mothers that have been fathers in many of the children's lives, whether the dad was there purposely or unpurposely. I don't know what's going on, man. You're getting bad feedback, brother.
Did you hear some in the background?
I heard like an echo.
Oh, let me see that.
Yeah.
Let me make sure that's not because I mute myself. Do you hear it?
Yeah, I hear it now. I still hear it. I don't hear you.
Oh, let me turn off something. See. Sound better now?
Let me see. Nope, I still hear mine. So.
Yeah, I have that thing turned on because the temperature's too hot in here. So that's why. It might be the sound of something blowing.
All right. It's a little echo anyway. It's like a delay. So again, happy Father's Day to all those fathers out there raising their children or have raised their children, mothers that have raised their children in the father's place. Again, whether it was purposely or unpurposely, I don't hear no echo now. Perfect. So you said a couple of things there. I disagree. First of all, you said something about that majority of women don't care how their children turn out, if they're gay or not. I don't believe that, man. I think that women disagree with that, but I can't say because I'm not a woman and I'm not a mother. So I think you should have some more women give their not opinion, but their take on that. Then you said something about that a lot of them will be gay if they raised by a mother or whatever through feminine things. I don't think that's true either, bro. Can you hear me?
Yeah, go on, because it says the echo. That's why I had to mute myself. Unless you still hear echo.
All right, yeah, perfect. All
Is
right,
the echo gone?
And then the thing with child support, I would say this, man. The least that you can get government involved in your shit, the better, right? But it also depends on, you know, how the two parties are dealing with each other. Now I'm hearing echo. So I would think that, hello? All right, there we go. So I would say that, you know, if you guys can come to, you know, some type of mediation without the, you know, getting involved the courts, because this is what it is. Once you involve the courts and government in your shit, they want a fee because you're using their services. The government is like a service, you know, even though we pay into it, but it has services. So court and all that shit, that's service. They got to pay those people to sit in the court and do those cases and pay them. So if we want to avoid that and lessen that, possibly, you know, lessening getting the courts involved. Now, you know, that don't happen. Every case is different. That's another thing is that, you know, unfortunately, when you in the beginning of a relationship, you really don't know that person. The only way I would say that you can get more of an insight is knowing the background of that person, whether it be, now, I'm pretty sure people check people's social media and, you know, things of that sort. But, you know, I mean, even if you have a record on a person, do you really want to judge them on their record? Maybe they had bad, you know, relationships in the past, and now you're the person that's going to change that. I mean, that's a possibility also. Another thing is that, you know, you just really don't know, man. I mean, it's like gambling. Everything is a gamble. Again, some people will lay it out on the table. Some people don't. You know, and some people have those discussions about, all right, so what if this happens? You know, that happens, but it doesn't happen often. You know, if something happens, you know, because when you're in a relationship in the beginning, you're not really thinking about, you know, break up or what happens this or we break up with, you know, with the child and all that. So I think that that's almost like maybe that'll be constructed in some form in the near future where people are more, you know, if you want to say transparent or more open, speaking on what, you know, like planning for the future, if there's a future. And then a lot of the times things happen randomly. You know, it's just the laws of attraction, whether it be, you know, visually at the time or when you get to know that person at that moment, really not to know them as fully, but, you know, you get to know them that day as far as what you like about them, vice versa. And then things happen from there, you know. Sometimes, or a lot of times, those discussions don't happen, like, you know, right away. So I'm just saying that everything is like, is pretty much like a gamble. You know, you don't know. And a person could be beautiful, nice outside, you know, in the very beginning, and never have no track record of some messed up stuff. And then at the end, one day to another, shit just happened. You know, a person could change, just snap, and just be like, look, you know what, I don't want to be with you. Or I don't want to, you know, deal with you for whatever reason, whether it's the person that's doing stuff or not, you know, or they feel like they're in a different space. So, I mean, this shit has always been, you know, just if you want to say murky waters, you know, and unless you have like arranged, and I know a lot of people are not with that arrangement, you know, arranged marriages, and then whatever happens, we're going to stay together. I don't think that this generation and even people that's older living now would bargain for that, you know. So I think it's always relationships are always complicated because there's no one way of doing things, and everybody has their own ways of doing it. It's just connecting the dots or how those people can work together to eliminate the negative or you know, minimize the don't likes enough to get along. And then when these things happen with relationships where, you know, they have children involved and then they, you know, separate, and again, getting back to the court system, you know, if that could be worked out in some way, which, again, there's no one way of doing it, and there's not one, you know, every relationship they can't deal with. It's like, oh, well, you know, some people out there are like, well, try to talk to my wife, my ex-wife, or try to talk to my ex-husband. It wasn't going down like that. So it's personalities. I think it will be always complex. complicated thing, even with the internet. You know, where people are looking at each other's profile and going by profiles, because that could be real, it could be fake. And if it is real, anything could change with your relationship. Every situation is unique. That's where I say like that. And again, I commend all those people out there doing, parenting jobs. I'm not a parent myself, but I give respect to those. I got family members that have children. So big up to everybody that's been trying to do their things. Those that have been taking care of other people's children, whether they was the mother or not. You know, we have a lot of people that's been out there that took care of children for many different reasons. It don't got to be that the father left on his own regard, or there was an argument. There's people that's out on the military, people that work on a field that don't come back for months. Different situations. But like I said, I commend all those that are doing, what they should be doing and have done. And, whether a man or woman, and definitely respect to the fathers out there that been, putting in that work, despite the difficulties that they might have with, their former spouse. I'll leave it there, bro.
One question, Jay.
Hey, Gary, this is Artifact. Can I get on when you finish?
Yeah. So, Jay, let me ask a question. So you cold-heartedly believe a woman could play the mother and father role to that child's life, either a boy or girl. You believe that, right?
Well, they can't do everything that the father could do, but they facilitate a lot of areas when the father's not there. So I'm not going to say 100%. No, a child should need needs his both parents, but mothers have pulled it off. Mothers, aunts, and sometimes a lot of times they got uncles, so they'll bring in a male figure in a lot of the situations. So I don't think that she should do it by herself, and she could fill in every gap, but she could fill in some gaps, and that's why it's important to try to get the two on the same page, whether they together or not, to try to keep that balance, if you want to say, in that child's life. So everything is unique in its own way, but I definitely know a mother cannot fill every gap. That's why you have a male figure and a female figure. They have different ways of going about things and different things that they can speak to you about, things that they go through in their own experience, different body types, you know what I'm saying, and different thought processes. So no, not 100%, but they have been doing a lot of the filling in when those fathers is not there.
Okay. All right. Well, if you say so. But all facts, you there?
Yeah, I'm here, Guy.
And what's good? What's on your mind?
Let me ask you something, Guy. Is a divorced husband with children, is he a baby daddy?
To my knowledge, nah.
Why not?
Because he was married. How he's going to be baby daddy?
What if he was married for a year? What if he was married? I'm asking. Okay, I'm going to wait. What if he knew her for a year, got married for a year, and then got divorced the third year? Is he a baby daddy to that child?
No.
Why?
I just don't see it, baby daddy. Because he actually put a ring on it, gone through the little legality, did all the paperwork on stuff, and they were husband and wife. Now, if they separate a year and say, okay, now I'm divorced, this is what I'm hearing off facts, that say, now you turn a wife into a baby mama. This is what I'm hearing now. And I'm going to say,
and I wonder if we make these terminologies, we need to sit these people who bring this stuff in our community and sit down and say, give me a factual measurement of these definitions. Because you throw words like baby daddy, and then when I say, okay, give me the measurement of a baby daddy, don't be ambiguous. Because if you're going to be critiqued about baby daddy, it should be a perfect measurement. That's why I asked you. There's no perfect measurement, guys. All this shit is crazy. This is they think they helping and they're not. They're just people are making up terminologies to demean other people that's not like them. It's not an encouragement. ABC put something in the chat room that says, why is this young man refuses to become a baby daddy on Father's Day? This is a Father's Day, and they want to talk about why baby daddies is good.
Thanks. Before you continue, if ABC's put anything in the chat room and he's listening to the show, he has to come up on the show and explain his rhetoric. Because I'm going to be honest with you.
Right.
From what I'm understanding, once you're married, if you're married before having the kid, then obviously, and you had the kid while you're married, then your husband and wife with a kid. Now, if they separate, now something I'm hearing now, and this is foreign to my ear, that says and tells me that now you become a baby daddy and she become a baby mama. And it throws it all off loop.
It throws it all off loop.
I'm not trying to cuss, be honest with you, but it don't make no sense. Now you revert back to a lesson. Let me tell you something.
And then, guys, can I say one thing? And plus, one more thing. Please hold us to it. But I got to say this before you continue. And also, with the statistics, it fucks up the statistics and it makes the bad African community looks bad. Especially when you use the term fatherless. Fatherless, they've been using that terminology for a long time when you talk about the interaction between the father and the child. The average black child is not fatherless. That's a fact. That's a fact. So that is why I'm asking, is a baby daddy is you go to the club and you get the prostitute pregnant on the first night and then you raise the children? Is that a baby daddy? Is a baby daddy that you have a girlfriend, y'all was living together 6 months, y'all worked it out, you got some management issues, and now she got you on child support, but you spending time with is that a baby daddy? Or you get married and for a couple of years and you get divorced, and then now you got child support and custody, is that baby daddy? Or you was married for 10 years and y'all got divorced and you still got, is that a baby daddy? Give me the definition of a baby daddy. Don't tell me all facts. I know what a baby daddy is. My point is, men are going to be in situations where they're not going to be with the woman and they're going to have a relationship with their child and be an intricate part. And I'm just saying, are there different stages of being a baby daddy? Or is baby daddy is someone who just doesn't take care of the child financially, emotionally, or physically? Because I'm done after this. Because if you say you married a woman and you don't want to become a baby daddy, don't get divorced. No matter what, you stay. If she cheats on you, you walk in the house, you see her fucking on you, or you see him having sex with another woman in your bed, no matter what your church or belief or how your mother raised you, don't, because you don't want to become a baby mama or you want to become a baby daddy. But go ahead. That's all I wanted to say. And happy Father's Day for everybody out there.
It's interesting you mentioned this, Alphax. Thank you. I hope you stay online. That, to me, it goes back to, again, how we're redefining and define what is, in regards, not only a relationship between a man and woman, but what they want to call it if they're not legally married. If you think about all facts, when I first heard the term baby mom, baby daddy, I'm not sure how old I was, but if I really dove into the history of this, that this is a new type of phenomenon. I think this has been going on for 30 years. I know during the 80s they were calling anybody baby mom, baby daddy. But I know this is something new when the 90s came around. I'm not sure I'm right or wrong because you older than me. You were probably just an adult around the 90s. But you never heard anything about somebody calling themselves a baby mom, a baby daddy when you were a boy. Have you? Oh, you probably don't.
No, I'm not. No, I haven't. Go ahead. No, I haven't.
Okay, so this is something that I'm not sure we create as people create these terms, but it goes back to, again, and I want ABC to call in for his own clarity of what he's trying to get at. That, if you were married as a black man and your wife divorced you and you have a child, now this new term I'm hearing now, you revert from not only a married wife but a spouse, a divorcee, and now you refer to a baby mama. it sounds insane right now. Say, so you were once married, now you back to baby mama. I mean, last much people call themselves baby mama, baby dad because they never were married. So I'm not sure if the terminology or definition of it is interchangeable between, who's married, who's not. And if it is, let's say that is, then we have problems in the community, to be honest with you. Because, like Jay said, yeah, things do turn south. Hell, the wife might not like certain things, and she divorced more than the man. You know what I'm saying? And, she might have to revert back to a lesser role where she might have to do more, depending her relationship between her actual husband and her in regards to how they're going to co-parent that child. But at the end of the day, when we sitting there defying now, saying that, oh, you're now, we got to put you in the baby mama category because you're a divorcee. I mean, that's just stupid. I don't entertain that. And I hope nobody that's intelligent don't entertain that because that sounds stupid as hell. It sounds stupid as fuck, to be honest with you. I mean, if you're a baby mama, you're a baby mama because you didn't get married. It's that simple. Same thing, you're playing baby dad role because you didn't decide to put a ring on it. You decided just to sit there, pump and dump, knock her up, and then want nothing to do with her and the child on the average. You didn't want to co-parent. So you decided to say, that's my baby mama. I have to give her some money here and there just to, shut her up. But it's all what a man wants, especially a man. If he wants to live that type of role, then, hey, you get what you deserve. You know what I'm saying? Don't let the courts eat you up. Because that's what they're there for. And I just said earlier, all facts, that even in regards to child support, which is a little bit different or not based on the subject, because I read the 5 reasons why you weren't chosen, that hold on. That I can remember. It goes because, and it's funny, it's Father's Day, since we're talking about this, that, this is the only day where, any man should get some praise and respect for those who have done their duty and good works as a father to the children. I mean, right. If you look at this, and I'll be honest with you, men are not really viewed as anything esteemed in this community. Not just us, but just in general. And the reason why that is because, to be honest with you, it's not easy being a man. And, like I said, we raised in society to be very selfish. I mean, if it's Mother's Day and they say it's a good, beautiful thing, yeah, it's nice. But when it's Father's Day, they say, yeah. And this only applies to certain women that if they're not even in a cohesive relationship with their mate, either husband or, baby daddy, then they'll have an issue with this. And they're the ones that will get a little more pushback because think about this. Your son and daughter comes and they see other children with their actual fathers being somewhat involved in their own friends. And when they don't see them getting that same love and respect, they look at themselves as adequate and say, I did something wrong to deserve why my father doesn't play a role? Because children start to question it, Because children are more observant. And they see love from not only one parent but both, it makes them feel away. And sometimes they don't sit there and ask question the mother why daddy's not here. Some will, and the mother, if she's respectful, she'll keep it honest, no matter what age your child is. But
let me say something,
in this society, we lie and don't tell the actual truth. But go ahead.
But you know what, guys? You got an echo. I don't know what's wrong with it.
Yeah, I got
it. Anyway, yeah, just me. Yeah, but real quick. And you can unmute yourself anytime. This is your show, guys. But real quick, and because we had a conversation with Ken. Big J had a conversation with Ken, and it was like some guys say, and I agree, a piece of paper doesn't make a marriage, but according to the baby daddy rules, if you're shacking up with a woman and you're not married to you, is the woman living with her baby daddy? People who use the terminology, she's living with her baby daddy. They're not married. Christians would say, quote, unquote, shacking up. Now, that's old terminology. Y'all hate that old terminology. What I'm saying is, why are you trying to demean a father? They're making up words to your baby mama. You may be living with your baby mama. Are y'all married? Are y'all a nuclear family? See, the problem is, and I don't care, and no one ever change it. Every human being that's walking or breathing, whatever the situation, they got a chance of life. No matter if it comes from a one-night stand or not, no matter if some people consider them a bastard. But other people are not going to convince me that I should look at it another way. That's not me, and I hope I never change. Regardless, that baby comes into this world, the society at large, especially if you're talking about children, if you can help in any type of way with that child, help. If not, then so be it. The child is responsible. We got things that if parents are not real responsible, we got a system that, guess what, take the child away from the parents. When in extreme situations, society says we're going to have to put that, and then hopefully, if you're able to get children in that situation, hopefully you won't be abusing because you become their mentor or their counselor, whatever it is. Foster parent, adoption, I don't know. So that's all I'm saying, Ken. I'm sorry, Gary. The question I want to ask is, if you're not married by certificate and you're living in the same house with that woman, you're raising your kids, is that a situation where baby mama and baby daddy is living together?
All right, I jump back on. I'm hoping that this
echo
is the echo still going on. I hope not. Hope I corrected it. I guess I got no echo. Good. Okay, I'm not sure what you said last thing. I stepped away.
If people are living together and they didn't go downtown to get the marriage certificate and they're living together, is that a case where a baby mama and a baby daddy are living together, and is that bad for our society? Because we had a situation where people were saying, well, if the guy's living with them, they don't have to go downtown to get married. But some people say that if they're not married, they're not shacking up. It goes against religion. They should get married, have a certificate. If not, that's a baby mama and a baby daddy raising that baby together in that household. That's how they're going to label them. Mm-hmm. See how people put labels on people, Gary, and try to demean them, saying their situation is better or worse than what they are because they got a certificate. But I'm going to fall back, brother.
Excellent. Thank you. This is my thing. Cause I'm learning more and more about the marriage, not all the marriage laws in America per se, but I will say this personally, that at one time, up to the 30s, I believe, maybe 20s, but I would say up to last 80-something years, that usually when people are married, their wife is tax exempt under contract law of marriage, but they discard that for the last 80-something years. So now, even, let's say our people were married, and they were still married at high numbers before the 60s, that, not only was it expensive, and people took advantage of it, but, most black people, and then they view families much differently than other races of people. It's just now, today, in this society now, because they have done a successful job of devoting people of having families, not intact families, but pursuing families and being in families' roles, that you're seeing an issue amongst our community. To those who could afford it during that time, went the legal route. And the ones that said that they didn't view or see importance, went the other route. And, the other route, as you know, for most of our community, that look at holistic, they view that as shacking up and view that as against so-called religious norms. Because you got to understand, black people, 80% or greater, are Christian. And because of that, they will follow the norms of the Christian doctrine, law. And let's go for it. Let's say some not even Christians, but they still will view and still want to get married the legal route through, court systems, paper, all that stuff. So I can't really label it as only just a religious thing altogether, because people at the end in this hemisphere get married for other reasons. Religion is one of the priorities, but most of them get married. The ones that really know how to use marriage properly do it more of a business fashion and more dealing in a business institution. So like I said, and now I find that there's a book they talk about, is marriage more for rich people. And I have issues with that, but like I said, many reasons why most men today don't want to get married, because it's a financial burden. They don't want to risk losing their little money they make yearly if they're making maybe more than $50K a year. They don't want to lose that and give that to their, I guess, woman of their choice through alimony, hell, even child support. So there's a lot of issues in our community that don't want to even attempt to get married or don't want to even look into getting married, from either marrying black women or non-black women, because it's not, beneficial for a man in this society. Now, me, I have a different approach. I would say, as any man, that you should not be concerned about how society goes. If your sole purpose is not only to better yourself financially, but want to pass on a lineage, you want to find the right woman and marry her and do it the proper way. If you're smart, Not every woman that you're going to pick is going to be that winner, but if you set a firm standard, and this is me now, and this is the weakness we suffer as black men, we do not set enough barriers to standards what we want in a relationship and what we're going to deal with and what we're not going to deal with. That's why the bar is set so low in everything we do in society as black men. That alone is representation of how far we're willing to go and what we're willing to take or do what's necessary. And, I hear from other comments from a lot of women say that they feel that their standards are very low too. So overall, when I look at us as a collective, how we set ourselves, the bar is very low as a whole for us as black people entirely, holistically. If one person is going to set a standard, it should apply for both. It should not be one person set my standard and then you accept me for no. That means if you're going to set a standard, my standard just has to be just as high or even greater, especially if I'm dealing with the financial burden of everything. And that's how most men should think and operate moving forward in the 21st century. And that will apply to some women. If you feel that a man should provide something, then you should probably seek out some dude that's going to provide some roofing and some form of protection. If they can't provide either one or provide both, you stay with that person. I don't care about all the other emotional problems, all that, because marriage gets better within time. Nothing's perfect. We all have parents, grandparents that have been married for over nearly half a century. And we know their relationships were never perfect either. You hear stories of mostly you hear mom talking about how dad probably go over town and probably have another family over town. This has been going on in our community for centuries, 30 times after enslavement. So how black people operate and how they view themselves relationship-wise, it should be expected. Who do you think is your teacher? Who taught you behavior? Now us is that same Caucasoid that you fear and you have a problem looking dead in the eye. And that's just a fact. So let me check the phone line. All right. The number to call is 712-770-4160. Access code 915-411#. I repeat, 712-770-4160. Access code 915-411#. Tonight's subject, the 5 reasons why you've not been chosen. This is the summertime edition, 2020. Now, as I'm looking, I know certain people have been mentioning about blackdemographics.com. I decided to look into the website personally. They said it was a black man that created this website. Now, I'm not sure if this same black man has a team, a well-paid team, to sit there, go to every state, door to door, or do a deep analysis to get the actual numbers in regards to the position we are as a race of people, not only financially, but everything, all aspects of demographics we stand or where we are at in this country. Let me look through this. All right, this is black demographics. What I'm looking at, and I'll share this link during the end of the live stream. This is the population of black people by state. Now, mind you, and this, I stay firm in my decision and what I said about us having our own, not only set database, but like how white people have numbers, we should have a set, an account of group of organization and out here doing the opposite number crunching of what we stand in this country. So I will look at black demographics and take some words for now. I won't take it as true or the gospel, but since this is a black man that created, we will look at this now. Texas, 14% of the population is black. Florida, 18% black. New York, 19% black. Georgia, 34% black. And I think Georgia is, from what I'm looking, besides Louisiana, is the highest where black people congregate by population. 8% California, which it looks like it jumped a little bit. Last time I checked, it was like 5%, but it went to 8 now, so I'm not sure if that's accurate. But like I said, most statistics nowadays, if we're not really controlling numbers and having these set organizations to do the same number crunch like our non-black counterparts, I always keep all information as is to somewhat factual, but not really true. That's just me. North Carolina, 24%. Illinois, 16%. Maryland, 33%. That's in D.C. Virginia, 21%. Pennsylvania, 13%. Ohio, 14%. Louisiana, I said before, 34%. Michigan, 15%. New Jersey, 16%. South Carolina, 28%. Alabama, 28%. Tennessee, 18%. Mississippi, 39%. Oh, I'm sorry. So out of the two populations from Mississippi to Louisiana and Georgia, Mississippi is the highest. So I got to scratch it. I'm wrong. Mississippi is the highest where black people reside. Missouri, 13%. Indiana, 11%. Massachusetts, 10%. Arkansas, 17%. Connecticut, 14%. Minnesota, 8%. Wisconsin, 8%. Arizona, 6%. Washington, 6%. Kentucky, 10%. Oklahoma, 9%. Nevada, 12%. District of Columbia. Oh. Ooh. Wow. I tell black people that's where you need to be at. The highest. 48. That's almost 50%. I tell you, if I was a black person, I would live in District of Columbia. Be honest with you. But I know a lot of black people don't want to live around other black people because they hate each other, can't stand their guts. They want to get as far away from niggas as possible. Me, I like to be around niggas as much as possible. But that's the thing. So District of Columbia is the highest, 48%. Colorado, 6%. Delaware, 25%. Kansas, 8%. Iowa, 5%. Oregon, 3%. Nebraska, 6%. Rhode Island, 10%. West Virginia, 5%. New Mexico, 3%. Utah, 2%. Hawaii, 4%. Alaska, 5%. New Hampshire, 2%. North Dakota, 4%. Maine, 2%. South Dakota, 3%. Idaho, 1%. That's a pure redneck state. Vermont, 2%. Another redneck state. A redneck state, I believe. Or I think it's a Republican state, too. I could know. Anyway. Montana, 1%. And Wyoming, 2%. So let me see what's the average percentage. What's this? I don't know what this is. I'll get rid of this. Well, it doesn't give me an actual percentage. I'm not sure if I could. Can I calculate this on my computer? I could. Nah, I'm not going to do that. All right, so that's by population. So the highest percent where black people really reside in, out of 4 states or 5 states, is the District of Columbia. So they don't call it chocolate city for nothing. Makes me wonder why a lot of black people live in District of Columbia. That's another story. Okay. So let me see what else I can look for.
Hey, Gary, I wanted to comment on what you were saying before you go further. I didn't know if you were going to go into another topic. Because Bianchi sent me something. You know Bianchi, right?
Why is Bianchi don't call back in the show? I missed.
I don't know. I don't. But,
is he still
hold
around?
on.
Is he okay?
I want to make sure you finish before I go further. Will you finish?
Mm-hmm.
All right, well, I want to, he sent me the same thing, similar thing. I was going to read it. It says blackdemographics.com. But I want to read, it's not long, girl. I want to read, and it's a little different than your statistic. It may be the same, but I'm also going to read what he put down, which I totally disagree with it. And this is not what we need to go forward. This is crazy. Okay? All right, reality is what it is. Don't be fooled. Well, and this is coming from him, guys. And Gary, when I read this, watch how people diminish blackness or diminish our power in this country. When they try to stop black people voting, that means we got power. I don't understand with these coons. Okay. Black population. Did you know in 2018 that there were 24 states where blacks make up less than 10% of the state population? Of those 24 states, blacks make up less than 5% of 5% of in 14 states. Those percentage include children less than 18 years. Black population is over 20% in 8 states. They are 37.70% in Mississippi, just like you said, 32.4% in Louisiana, 31.5% in Georgia, 29.8% in Maryland, 27.0% in South Carolina, 26.60% in Alabama, 21% in North Carolina, and 22.1% in Delaware. The District of Columbia is not a state. Okay, it's just not a state. So this is what he sent me. There were in 2020 39,265,380 blacks in the United States, or watch this, various ethnic groups. Huh? So you mean to tell me in your calculation into a census, you put the Caribbeans and all that under blacks? They're saying in various groups. So I guess they're putting in all various other groups into it. But this is the thing. Hold on for a minute. Of them, 8,795,445, or 22.4% of the black population are under 18 years of age. That means they can't go. That's not at war age. I'm just saying, can't go to war. That's a lot of people. between the ages of 18 and 65 years, 25,594,745 is over the age of, that's between. All right, and over the age of 65, there are 4,875,190 people, or 16%. Now, watch. This is what he says, Gary. I'm sorry I had to read through that because that's kind of what you just said. But this is what it comes back. Blacks do not have enough political numbers in any state to make a change without whites. And then, guess what? All blacks do not think alike. Many are conservatives and support the campaign issues of President Trump. Black women abort over 30 million plus black babies since 1973. A large number are not out of the norm through prisons, gender confusion, and the lack of demanding education and skills. Now we are witnessing whites participating in their protests and riots in order for them to look big. Reality is what it is. Only thing I disagree with that comment, because someone gave their political opinion after reading all these numbers, I totally disagree with the first stage. We have no, our numbers says that we have no any political numbers or quote unquote political power to make change without whites. Well, it's a given that whites are going to vote. It's a given that we may vote with other whites to free something. That's a given. But to make that statement is diminishing your political power. You still can be strategic. That first sentence says we cannot be strategic without whites. Or we can't be strategic in our voting by to, guess what, to persuade white people to come on our side. For instance, if you hold Joe Biden hostage, you may say whites may convince Joe Biden, yes, you know what? If you better vote for what the blacks want, because guess what? We'll vote for you, and then they'll vote for you. So you may want to do something special for them. You can hold things hostage. You can hold the Republican Party hostage because you can put leverage on your vote. So that's what I'm saying, man. You can look at these population numbers, but if we look and says our population numbers and babies need to have more children, first of all, they say we don't want baby daddies and baby mamas, so stop having children. But Bianchi wants people to have more children when they get don't get aborted on a one-night stand. I'm just saying, guys, if a guy get a girl pregnant on a one-night stand or whatever it is in a relationship, a married man gets his chick on the side pregnant, real respectable black man get it. I don't know. Some of them may get abortions. I'm not into that. But on the political power, we have voting power in each state, and we jocked it. Governor Hogan won because 66% of Democrats voted for that Republican governor. That's all I got to say, Guy. I don't want to hold you up.
What's my thing in regards to voting power and use of your vote? I mean, it's like this. Depending where black people reside, population-wise, in certain cities across this country, in the district of, I guess, D.C., where black people are, let's say, over 50%, they should not only be that pinnacle, but also hold a lot of power in certain infrastructure in regards to police force, EMT, all that stuff. And this is just me now, just laying it out. But like all other cities where we reside, we should be ones being a little bit more control on the average. Now, with the voting, I like to say, personally, we do local. And presidency, that's like the big stage. And that's going to take a more cohesive, collective front to really, if we are voting, which most black people are voting for who they want as president, it has to be organized. And I think black people they're just the ones to show up and vote, but they're not really organized, or we as organized and collective to see what we really want from any president that wants our vote. And this is election season, where you see Biden now putting out commercials, even go even going to the point where he's telling black men and women, say, if you don't vote for me, you're not black. I mean, it goes back to, again, that they play with our intelligence as people. And that shows how disorganized we really are, because no politician should be comfortable trying to make or use niggerish terms for us as people, because it shows how they view us and respect us as a collective. And it shows how they are confirmed to conclude that when they confront a black man or woman, regardless of education background, they look at them as stupid, dumb, retarded, and that they could just say anything and they'll get a vote. That's how I view it. But, yeah, like I said, well-organized group will get things done, including their vote. So let me see what else is on here. I'm gonna go for one more thing on black demographics, maybe two, and I might conclude this session. Let's see what else is here. Oh, black marriages. Here's how I was talking about that. Let's click on to it. Let's look what black demographics brings out. Household and black marriage. Marital status, 15 years and older. African Americans, all men, women, and all in the U.S. Marriage right now for black people is roughly 29% for all. The men's side, men marry 30% of the time. Women, if they say I do, is 26% of the time. All in the U.S., 48%. The U.S. as a whole is 48%. So roughly marriage in America for everybody else, including us, is not even half now. Divorce, all, 12%. Men, 10%. Women, 13%. All, 11%. So roughly when a man decides he gets married, black man particularly, he's less likely to divorce his spouse on the average. And the reason for that is because most men, they, depend on how they view their relationships, they will take either abuse from that spouse or something more, and they'll stay in it for the long haul. And it goes back to what I say again on the standards that men don't set, especially black men. There are times, a lot of women, they'll come in, get that ring, and then they'll let their body go to waste. Wherever they are to get you, they change up fast. And eventually, it leads to a man, instead of saying, man, screw it, I'm not going to sign divorce papers, let me go find that chick across town or, someone close where I'm at, and, give her my time and attention. And, obviously what happens, you see that 13% of women file for divorce because they expect it. Because most dudes, I'm not going to sit there and say, screw it, let me just let you walk off, give your signed papers, your pink slip, and keep moving. Men, like the divorce. But, I think in this century now, it's going to change. Let's keep going. Separate, all 4%. Men, 3%. Women, 4%. All in the United States, from all races, 4%. Widows, all 6%. Men, 3%. Women don't die as much as men. Men still die more than women. Women, 8%. All, 6%. Never married. All, 50%. So if you know the correlation between 50% of men have children, that's black, the ones that don't have children, on the average, are not the ones getting married. And it looks like this percentage actually confirms that. Men, 52%, never married. Women, 48%, never married. That's almost half. And all races, 34%, never married. And this is the Census Bureau of 2016. Actually, American Community 1 year estimate. And once the 2020 census has concluded and they pull up the records in numbers, it's going to give a different projection going on 2021. It is also believed that a large percent of black men marry white women. This is often cited as one of the causes of lower marriage rates among black women. This, however, is only partially true. While black men marry white women at twice the rate than black women marry white men, in 2017, only 15% of black men were married to non-black women, which is up from 11% in 2010. About 3/5 of those non-black women were white. So there is evidence of an increase of black men marrying out of their racial demographics. As a matter of fact, the Pew Research Center released a report finding that 25% of black males newlyweds in 2013 married non-black women compared to 12% of black women who marry out. However, Asian women and Native Americans still have higher rates of interracial marriage. Black women were the least likely to marry non-black men at only 7% in 2017, and only 4% were married to white men. So it did not grow any, it actually stagnated. And the reason why most non-black men are not marrying our sisters is because most non-black men are actually very fluid, and they know they can't screw up the money by just now choosing a non-white mate and giving their little money to the black female, unfortunately. I mean, you look at the end of the day, men do carry some form of resource. And most of the men that have access to not only a woman, but any woman, and they still choose not to marry them, that's telling right there. And it goes back to my point about why probably why you're not been chosen. Usually, women change up their behaviors towards the opposite sex, which is in their race, but still, no result will vary them or give them any more success of them finding or getting married to that non-black man. Unfortunately. Okay, let's go down.
Well, Greg, can I ask you something? It says from 2020. Has the census ended yet? Because they're saying they're getting the black.
They're rolling the new numbers in the beginning of the next new year.
Right. So that means, right. But see, when I read something, it says numbers as the numbers of 2020. So if I'm just saying, Gary, listen, if any website saying that they have the black population for 2020 and this is a census year and the census has not ended yet, it's a misprint. There's a lie. Because listen to me, I'm researching this website and I'm getting data. They're using 10,010s. Because what I do a reverse check on any sites, right? So I find what you do is you go to look for the sites that goes back to blackdemographics.com. You find the sites that lead you back to there. So what you come to a library guide, and you have the census, and black demographic is under this type of area. Every time I go to like the young African American men in the United States, that statistics, it gives me 2006 numbers. When I click on the site about the black population, it gives me 2000. It says the black population 2010 census briefs. So what I'm saying is, guys, I don't know about that, but they should not have no accurate population because the census is not over and plus it's been delayed. So when I read that I'm just saying, what I read from Kiyaki, they said numbers as of 2020. So that's what I'm saying, guys. You got to be very thorough. Not saying that this is not a legitimate site. Not saying that. What I'm saying is, if you say that you have the numbers, I'm not going to repeat myself. If you say you have the numbers of 2020 and all the numbers haven't been counted for 2020, that's a contradiction. That's all I'm saying.
Well, also, you got to understand this. Anytime somebody is putting out any data of any sort that is supposed to be accurate of the year we're in now is a fraud automatically, because you don't collect data within less than 6 months. It takes, on the average, a whole year to look over everything for at the end of the whole entire calendar year. And for them to sit there put that information out there is always to get clickbait, to get traffic onto their site. Because people are trying to look for the latest information. Because, the problem with our society is we get too overwhelmed with information, and we're not really checking the source. Now, a person that's in IT like yourself, you have certain tools to go check out any authenticity of certain sites anyway. And, some people should learn some little technical stuff to look to how to weed out certain fake sites. I think it's very important because there's too much propaganda put out here. And the games that's being put out.
Yeah, because he says it right here, Guy. He says there were in 2020 39,265,380 blacks in the United States or various ethnic groups. Where did he get that shit from? Is that a misprint or is that 2010? You see?
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
So,
yeah,
okay,
man.
sorry, I'm going to fall back, man, because they say I talk too much. I'm going to fall back, brother.
Yeah, man. I don't trust every information I hear nowadays. I question some things. The reason why I'm reading Black Demographics, I've been hearing about this site lately, and now that I know that this is developed and created by a brother from Texas, I don't know if he's from Houston or something, but, I had to check the site for myself to see what he's put out here. I mean, he put out some somewhat general, similar information. And like I said, we as Black people, we don't really have our own facilities. We don't have our own people bootstrapped in the thousands, really counteracting certain data that's being put out here between us and other race people in America. Because when they put things out in the black population, it's always saying that we're the worst. We are, even go as far as say we are 13% of the population, and we have not grown for 20, 30 years, and they put the blame on sisters, say you killed too much black babies, that's why we stay stagnant. No, there is other works that keeps your numbers down. You got to keep in mind, murder is one of the things, not just black on black violence, but also white on black violence is another thing. And, there are many things that's being put out here that they're not really talking about. Hell, they're not even talking about the missing black people every year, from the children to the people, men and women. So we had to put in all those factors. But when we're not asking really the real source of why there's this percentage, now we have to be questioning it now. Because you cannot stay 30% for 30 years. To remain at that percentage, you had to do a lot of killing. And last time I checked, black people on the average still give more births than deaths. It's the only people that has a hard time repopulating is the ones that still killing and not replacement, because they only have very little children. Hell, some of them not even have more than 2 kids. Unlike black people, most of them go beyond 2 kids. Some of them have 4 and even 5 or 6. Whether they're poor or in a stable household. I see somebody raise their hand. Let me check who this is. Hello?
Hey, Gary.
What's up?
All right. I'm trying to figure out what your topic is. I see this. You're throwing around a lot of statistics. So I've been trying to figure out.
T.R.S. Facebook room, because the show is streamed on Facebook.
Okay. Well, from a statistic standpoint, what they don't normally do when it comes to statistics, and they always tend to flag with this thing with black men with white women and all that dumb stuff, but they never talk about the single black men with no children. Statistically, there's a lot of single black men with no children. So they never talk about that, and they always give us this ideal that for some reason or another, that where's those black men at that are single with no children? You see, and that's something that they just don't do. They don't have that statistic. They don't even, as a matter of fact, they don't even have a real statistic of black women and white men and her marrying 9 black women. I think that statistic is skewed, and I think they lie about that statistic a lot. You see, that statistic is also a false statistic, because I said, well, damn, they to say that black women.
Joshua,
go ahead.
So you're saying that black women are marrying out more of non-black black men more than black men?
No, it's what I'm saying that I'm saying they're marrying more. I'm not saying that they're marrying more than black men. That's not what I'm saying. But what I'm saying, that statistic for black women marrying non-black men, I think that's a higher statistic than what they like to record. You see, and I think that's a propaganda tool as well. They're always watching black men. For some reason or another, people are always watching black men and seeing what the hell black men are doing. I think that's. Huh?
Are you in an era where you live at where you see a lot of black sisters marrying white men?
I'm in an area where I see a lot of black single people. Period. My city, I'm saying that for a reason. My city is predominantly, in the city part, is predominantly black. So you're gonna find in my city, you're gonna find a lot of black people marrying black people. That's for the most part. So we don't have that problem, say like L.A., Seattle, Oregon, some parts like that. Colorado has that, has a lot of interracial dating. San Francisco has a lot of interracial dating. Oakland now has a lot of, dating, and like I said, that these statistics you can't always go by, because then they always give you the broader statistic of 85% of black men are married to black women. So that to me doesn't make sense. If they constantly picking on black men about who he's marrying, but he said, well, then it's 85% of black men that are married to black women. So what's the problem? You see, so I'm saying that, what I'm saying.
Let me say this, y'all, to be fair with you. And we're black men on this line. And each state is different where we reside. I'm going to tell you personally, bro, that in regards to this interracial problem with the black community, I'm going to be dead honest. This is not a problem with black people. And the reason why I'm saying it's not a problem is because since actual official integration, black people went a different direction. And the direction they took is not only they have self-respect, but also how they view themselves relationship-wise, not sexual, but relationship-wise. Because already there was a sense of self-anger and hate towards each other. And it's shown throughout media to the point where they want to find themselves saying, I'm hoping that I pick someone that's lesser or don't look or resemble me to hope to get something better out of the deal where I'm escaping something. But at the end of the day, you're not escaping nothing at all. Now, for the black men that chose to date out, they do that. We have no control of that, bro. And women that choose to date out, they're going to do that. We have no control of that. At the end of the day, most people, depending on where they are and where they reside, they're going to always calculate where they're close to demographically. If there's more black people in one area, most likely your chances of you going out, dating out, very less. Because it's what you're trying to seek and want. For a man to sit there and say, I want to have not only sex with non-black women, but I want to marry them, you have to go outside your community to get that. Same thing with the women. You have to go outside wherever community you reside, where there's more of us than them. And to be honest with you, when they say 85%, I would have to agree, yeah, that's actually factual. Because if we really were dating out the way we are, then 2053 would have been here now. It would not be waiting the next almost 40 years. For them to project what America's going to look like in 2050, that tells you the way how they're pushing the program where they want to see less black people creating more black people. You have to fully indoctrinate the next ones that's going to be adults, which are ones that's turning 20 now, at this decade now, and the ones that's going to be turning adult the next decade. Hell, some of the Gen Zs now are not even messing around with black women, from what I'm hearing right now. And those are boys. So obviously with the women, they're going to follow suit eventually. You know what I'm saying? Some of them want to do that, but they're going to be forced to make a decision. And mind you, it's going to be hard for them because overall, most non-blacks are not marrying our sisters. And the reason that is not because let me finish. The reason why they don't is because they want to keep the little wealth they have in their own communities. That's the only reason. Because think about this, Joshua. What's stopping white men from really marrying our sisters? They've been having access to our sisters since the days we've been here in this country. What's stopping them? Nothing's stopping them. But there's something more to it. They only see our women, I'm being dead serious, and you listen to me, good brother, as concubines. Nothing more, nothing less. As an object. Just like these non-black women, when they see a brother, if he doesn't have nothing really attached to them, they only see them as a fucking object. And you know how I can prove this? Look at those rallies. You know what they talking about? They see them with dildos walking around with sex toys. That's what they view your nigga as, black man. So what you about to say?
No. I was going to say, you know, like again, I'm not buying. I'm not buying the issue that non-black men are not marrying black women. That issue I don't buy, because I see when I lived in Los Angeles, Pasadena, I saw non-black women. Non-black men with black women. So unless someone is lying, see, this is my point. Unless someone is not truly going out and getting these statistics like they're really supposed to, or is it just a propaganda machine again? See, I think statistics are just statistics. And I think a lot of times statistics, sometimes they skew statistics to push a narrative. You see? So when you're saying that non-black men are not marrying black women, I see this is why I don't believe that. I see non-black men marrying black women. Okay? I see non-black men. Matter of fact, white men do more interracial dating than any other man on the planet. To tell you the truth, he does it more.
You know why he does it?
Hold on, let me finish. Let me finish.
I'm going to say why, and I'm opening the line.
Yeah, yeah. So he does it because he has the economic means to do it. Black men don't have the economic means to do what they're saying. Statistically, black men are out here marrying all these women. These non-black women. That's crazy. I don't believe that. You see, so like you said, unless a black man is economically sound and equipped, that's the time when he becomes a prize for the non-black women, which is really is hypocritical. Because truthfully, from my perception, some of them don't even love him. They just like him because he has money. But that's another subject within itself. But my point is that, again, I don't buy a lot of statistics because I don't believe that they truly go out and get these statistics properly. I think they pick and choose what they like. It's like the Chinese. It's like the Japanese guy that made a statistic that black women are the less desirable. That's bullshit. She's probably the most desirable statistically. Now, he pushed that narrative because that's the narrative he wanted to push. But I thought that was definitely, well, that's not true because there are a lot of non-black men who want black women. So I think again, they push statistics to push a narrative. That's what I'm getting to.
Well,
I'm finished.
Wait, one second. Let me say this. I'm opening the line. See what this is. Who's this? Hello? I'll be in line.
Yo, what's happening?
Yeah, that's okay. Big
old C, man.
You can see. Let me say this. I'm open back in line, Joshua. Now, Joshua, I know from what you see, if you still live in Los Angeles, and you see this, and like I said, I read Black demographics, and right now, black people, they went from 5% to 8%. Not a really big population in Los Angeles. But the point is this, and I'm saying this, and I want you to understand this, brother. The European man or non-black man that sit there mess with interracial more because that is the fruit of war, the booty. He right now is in a so-called position of power right now still. So any position of power, he's going to mess and flunk with all women because he is what we call the standard of what they call God. That's why if you look at most people, when you ask what's the image of God, you ask the average black person, they'll tell you it's that Jesus Christ. And what's the image? White. They don't talk about no black Jesus, they talk about that white image. So if you infect your mind to tell you who is the Lord and ruler, what do you think is going to happen? They're going to find and to attain that God any way possible. So if they take on a non-black man, which mostly is probably the dorky one, they'll take him instead of taking a regular black man that went for the same thing and might be dorky. He will not be chosen, but the white man that's dorky will be chosen because he is somewhat of a status to our sisters if they decide to, pursue it and he goes out and marry them. Which most likely, those ones that's married, maybe they will marry them most likely. But the average Caucasoid, no, he's not going to marry our sister in numbers because he knows the power of holding the wealth in the community. And flaunting to another race of culture and just giving the ring and giving his resource to him, that's not feasible. And if they're trying to attain a sense of power, yes, they benefit from interracialism because they run this country, but in regards to keep sharing wealth and stuff, it's not beneficial long term. So don't try to go by believe what you see and think that black women are marrying them and black men not because he's not in a power position. There are black men right now that doing pretty well financially, and they, if they choose it, will marry a non-black woman and have no problem. Even the ones that look fat and obese, they will take it because it's trophy wife for a lot of black men. They're not getting the best of the best of their community, But this is how we're thinking as collective as a whole. It's better to have one white person that is subpar, but it's better to have that than being around and marrying within your own community. Because it's not only the status, but it's that will raise their standard of them in society, how society should look at them if they're in this interracial couple. That's all I'm going to say. I'm going to leave it at that. Now, Big O, see you there? I'm only going to open one more line. I'm going to send calls tonight. What's on your mind, bro?
So I started listening about 20 minutes ago.
All right, so you're going to have to sit back because we said a lot right now. I'm not going to go back to what it said, to be fair, Big OC, because I'm already past the time. Just to keep it reasonable, bro. I'm not going to give a summary. Is that cool?
Say it again?
I'm not going to give a summary. What if you've just been listening to the last 20 minutes? There's a lot said.
Yeah, that's cool.
No. The subject of the show is actually titled The 5 Reasons Why You Haven't Been Chosen. That I already talked about that early on to the show. Anything after that is something else I talked opposite to the subject at hand.
Okay.
So, yeah.
And you said the 5 reasons you haven't been chosen?
Yeah.
Oh, okay. You mean for women choosing men?
No, for why women not being chosen for marriage and all that.
Okay.
But, damn, somebody dropped off on me.
Okay, I got it. I got it.
Well, Greg, I'll see you online. Call back, Greg, because I'm going to end the show. If you have a question, Greg, please call now. But,
hey, Gary, can I say something else?
No. Yeah. Let me open this line. I'm going to say one more thing. I don't know who this is. All right. Greg, what's good?
Hey, what's up, man?
Okay. Stay right there. Let Joshua say one more thing. All right, Joshua. Your last one.
Yeah, I just want to say this right quick. You just stated that you were saying that just on the average that the average Caucasian is not marrying a black woman. No, the average Caucasian can marry a black woman. That's the point. The average Caucasian white dude, he can get a black woman. That's no question. They don't tell him. Hold on. Right. Yeah, so I'm saying they don't tell him that he has to be a alpha male or none of that shit. They don't tell him he got to have swag or none of that shit. He can be the average. Hold on. Let me tell you. He can be the average, everyday white guy who works every day. And believe me, bro, I've seen it. Mm-hmm. And I'm not mad at it, but I'm just telling you what I see. You see, and if that's what they choose, that's what they choose. But I'm just saying that we got to get out this frame of mind that the average Caucasian white male, he can get a black woman just like that, because like you just stated, it's fixed for him to do that. That's what you just stated that yourself. It's fixed for him to do that. It doesn't matter what white dudes do. If you turn on the TV, they always show him as what? He's noble. He's a father. He's this. If they would show the white dude being a serial killer all day, he would still, because it's been ingrained in women so much that he's noble, that he would still be able to get any woman he wants. Because that's how it's set up.
Yeah. It's not just that, but also men look at the same Caucasoid as a superior being as well. And how I can prove this, because when we have to really do things to accomplish what men, especially black men as a collective, we don't, because we don't see that if we try to do something outside this comfort or outside how he structured his system for his self-preservation, the fear that black men have is that he will destroy it. And that's why you see a lot of them, nor they don't say it, but ingrained subconsciously, they feel they can't do anything or progress anything further as a man in regards to actual power, because they feel another entity like the Caucasoid, because they always, you hear the same stories. You remember what happened in Tulsa, Oklahoma? They did this and destroyed it. That put fear into many generations of black men in this country. You know what I'm saying? So anyone, and I go further.
I don't.
Further.
I don't think that black men fear white men.
Let me say it. Listen. Even when one of them will said, let's start a league of our own. It's not what Kyrie Irving said that was offensive. It's a problematic to black people as well. White people are going to say something because they say, why you want to go? Don't you like playing for us? It's a bit because they want you to be comfortable to be a servant. Because thinking outside said, I want some of myself for my separate from you, is a problem. That's why we don't have these conversations. And not only having the conversation just to entertain it, but really, what will you going to take to make this reality? That's where you hear criticism.
Can I speak on that?
So I don't really entertain these conversations moving forward. Hold on, let me finish. So I'm being honest, so I'm speaking from black men, that it sounds good, but the average Negro don't want to hear this conversation. To be honest. Now, who's that speaking?
I want to.
Go ahead, OC. I think Greg OC.
Greg
and OC, but at the end, I want to speak on the Kyrie.
Let Greg say, I open his line. Chill for a second. What's Greg?
Hey, what's up, man? How you doing?
How you doing, Greg?
Happy Father's Day and Baby Father's Day.
Yeah.
Baby Daddy's Day. How you guys doing, man?
Greg, don't start that bullshit.
Don't start.
No, I just said Happy Father's Day, man.
Baby Daddy. Wow.
Well, I'm just saying Happy Father's Day. All right. I don't know if you guys are fathers, but Happy Father's Day.
Happy Father's Day to you too, Greg.
Okay. How you guys doing, man? Beautiful day. So the topic's about why brothers aren't getting chosen. Is that it, or what? Something along those lines, or? Is that it?
No, that's not a topic, and I'm not going to. What's on your mind, Greg?
Yeah. I don't know. Let's work on some brotherhood tonight, man. I mean, let's not be at each other's throat all the time. Why can't we have some camaraderie tonight? Can we do that?
We do that
we
every
have
night.
Some camaraderie tonight. But
okay. Yeah.
I'm saying support all black fathers, no matter if you're with the woman or not. Support them and encourage them to try to do better, because it's hard for a black man out here to raise their family. So
hard for everybody, bro. It's hard for everybody to raise a family. Not just
right.
brothers.
Yeah, I know. Especially for the black male, when you're living in a society where your counterpart is the white male, and he dictates a whole lot of stuff. So it's tough. It's tough. It's tough when you look at your history. You fought in every war, and your grandchildren still being shitted on. It's tough. It's tough out here for us. So,
I don't know, man. I mean, I have a question.
It's more tougher for the average black person than the average white male. It's more tough.
Yeah, it is. But I had a question. When you wake up and you look at the mirror, I mean, what do you see? Do you see a black man, or do you see yourself?
Well, me, I see a black African. First of all, I see a handsome young man. But if you're talking about politically in this society, when I walk in the room,
it's a simple question, bro. When I look in the mirror, I just see myself. Do you see a black man?
No, you don't.
I do.
You don't, Greg.
I do. I just see myself, man.
Yeah,
hopefully,
but Greg, the only problem is everybody else gets to define you in this country. You know what I'm saying? The other has defined you already.
But you know what, man?
When you walk out your door,
right?
Everybody else see you how you've been defined by everybody else.
Well, Greg,
you know what, man? Hey, hold on.
If you're standing next to a mirror, I just want to ask you, if you're standing in a mirror next to a white person, like if you're in a suit store, and so happening you're on this guy, who do you see yourself as just a person, or do you see him as a white man and you're a black man? How do you see that?
I see him. I see him as a white guy, but I kind of just see myself as myself. And hold on, man, there's something else you said that kind of interests me. I'm not defeated when I leave my house, when I go out in the world. I actually think being black is a plus, is a positive. I actually believe that. I know you guys don't, but I actually like being black. I think I have an advantage over other races of men by being a black man, and I use it to my advantage as a black man. And I don't feel beat down when I'm around white men or nothing. I don't feel intimidated by them. I don't feel anything. I tell you what I do.
I don't think anybody feels intimidated by them, Greg. The thing is
yeah.
The thing is they got control in any particular situation. They're gonna be looked to first before your black ass.
I understand that. Yeah,
and there ain't nothing you could do about that.
Well, there is. I mean, I've already gone on this before. White supremacy can be sidestepped, but I don't want to go into that again. But I think, listen up, man. I'll be brief. I think you can use racism and discrimination to your advantage as a black man if you know how to play the game and if you know how to keep your mouth shut. You can use it to your advantage. I've been using an advantage my whole life, but you have to keep your mouth shut.
When did you learn those advantages, though, Greg? Like, at what age did you find yourself starting to, like, say, okay, I know this is racism, so this is how I'm gonna start playing this game? When did you begin to do that?
Oh, I learned about racism when I first went to school, elementary, when we were around white boys, white kids, the playground. That's where it all starts. But
but those are just
as an
words
adult,
at first, right?
Yeah. Well,
but I'm saying when
the teachers were kind of cold.
When do you feel like you're taking advantage, of the situation, or you have control based on your race?
Mm-hmm.
I guess I'm looking for an example.
Well, okay. The reason why is because inherently white people most of them think that we're intellectually inferior to them, that we're not as smart as they are. Most white people, believe that. They do. Instinctively, they actually do. Now, you can use that to your advantage because when they think you're dumber than they are, they let their guard down when they don't think you're bright as a black man. And you're smarter than them, you may be. So you have an advantage over them. And I use that even as an electrician when I joined the apprenticeship program. They probably didn't think I was, just some average nigga that ain't gonna make it, wash out in 3 months. But they didn't know that I had background in electronics from the military, and I was studying at night too. And when I didn't play dumb, but I didn't let them know how smart I was. I just didn't let them in my head. So when you get white people, when you don't let them know how smart you are, they let their guard down and they start telling you things. They start showing you shit because they don't think you can learn it anyway. And I use it in my advantage, and I use it in business. They don't think they're that smart. Use it to your advantage, man. Just don't play dumb, but you can beat these white boys. They're not 10 feet tall now. They aren't. You can defeat them, but you have to use it. You have to use their insecurities to your advantage. I even use it towards women. I remember I used to approach women, and you like these high-fluting women, and you approach them and they think, fuck out here, nigga. You ain't coming out me. But I would always kind of get them. They didn't take me seriously a lot of times, man, and you use that to your advantage. Even the prettiest women, man, 8s and 9s, go up to them, start talking to them. They don't take you seriously anyway. What the fuck you got to lose? Just come at them, man, with some straight, work on your mouthpiece, man, and come at them.
So, Greg,
go ahead.
The 30s and 40s, the 20s, 30s, and 40s, you would have got yourself killed. That's what you said.
Look,
Slick talking to these white
well, hold on. See, my father, my father grew up in Georgia. My father was a son of a sharecropper in Georgia. Okay, he grew up.
Everybody's nigga father or grandfather was the son of a sharecropper. Nigga, that ain't.
My father got out of there. He moved us up to New Jersey, New York, and then out to California later on. And he did that with the 8th grade education, man. I think he finished 8th grade, 7th, 8th grade, and he just.
Did he work with his hands?
Yeah, my father was a steel worker. And
there you go, man. Shit, that was possible back then, man. It was possible. My granddaddy didn't get out of 3rd grade. That nigga had bread.
Yeah, but my father was good at business too, and buying properties and hustling. I mean, he had a lot of street smarts and a lot of innate intelligence, man. My father, he knew how to deal with them white boys, man. come at them straight up. I remember they would come to the house. Remember they used to sell cable TV? They used to come to your door and try to sell you cable. Remember that? You guys remember? You don't remember that. But they used to sell it door to door, cable TV. My pop and insurance and shit like that. My pop would make them motherfucking white boys. He'd do business on the porch. He wouldn't even let them in the house. I remember that. It's like, damn, Papa, I mean, he was like fucking an asshole with them. He would just make the motherfuckers do business on the porch outside. You know, he didn't give a fuck, man. And I just got a lot of that shit from him. These white boys ain't that goddamn formidable, man. Right now, these white boys are scared, man. They see all these uprisings. These crackers, some of them are worried about this shit a little bit, man. There might be some serious civil disobedience. Now,
may I make an observation? May I make a quick observation, OC? So you're going to benefit. Like you said, you got to take advantage.
Yeah.
You see all of these quote-unquote street nigga shit fighting for their rights for police brutality. Any laws that are being passed as far as making sure blacks get contracts now, making sure they employ these black brothers, people like you who didn't march and people like you who criticize these guys, you're going to benefit. See, Greg, I'm saying, I'm just hypothetically speaking, if they make a bill and we fight, you hold on, in a contracting business, you're going to benefit. Only thing I'm saying is, regardless, the nigga, them hoodlums, them niggas, this is a street movement. It's going to benefit everybody. And I don't give a fuck what you say, just admit it. So what I'm saying is, encourage in this fight, encourage people, whether you live in the same zip code or not, they're still black. You people say that what the niggas do in their zip code are going to affect your sons. I don't know how. But I've been hearing a lot of people in gated communities, black people in gated communities, they still getting discriminated against about white folk, right? But what I'm saying is, don't sit up here online and say these niggas don't know what they're doing. At this time, if you don't, but at this time, if they don't know what they're doing, they're getting, this cops getting locked up, cameras on cops, they've been passing laws, which people like you have been doing for the black community. I know you've been working, but far as legislative-wise, to impact the whole, you haven't been doing nothing because you're good. Because you say the government don't need to do nothing more for blacks, but I'll fall back. But you're going to benefit. You're just waiting for all the bills to be passed, and you're going to reap.
Well, for one thing, they already have a 3% set aside for minorities and women in business.
3% ain't shit. We want something 15% equal to the black population in this country. 3% ain't shit.
Well, let me answer the question. You already have a 3% set aside for minorities. That's already on the books. They already have all kind of laws on the books, civil rights struggles. We already passed like three. I don't know if you knew this, but there was like three other civil rights bills before. '64, there was one Eisenhower passed and one passed in 1800s. Okay, we're on our third one.
Why didn't those bills help us? The '64 bill. Why didn't it help us?
I'll tell you why.
Guys, hold on. Before I continue, let me open another line. Let me see what this is. Is that you, Jay?
Yeah. I guess they must have muted me, but I was going to say something, but y'all could continue. I'll jump in in one more minute.
Look. Frank Zappa had a quote. I don't know if you heard about Frank Zappa. He said, "America is a nation of laws that are randomly enforced." Okay, the problem isn't the laws. It's just America doesn't enforce their laws that they pass. That's where I'm coming at. So I don't take the laws. I take it with a grain of salt, bro. It's just paper to white folks, man. They got all kind of laws. They don't enforce the fucking laws.
Real quick, okay, right. Well, right. I told a coon I told a coon that I believe in coon. He's in the alcohol beverage. I'm gonna say this is how a policy can change the environment of our society. When prohibition ended, that person now who's making money in the liquor business, that's feeding their family. That policy makes people have good income and good family. He's a family man. So don't say that the government can't make a policy to change the atmosphere and the movement in its society, to put people work and open up new industries. That's why we have regulations. What I'm saying, you use the 64 bill. 65, they allowed immigrants to come over here and take jobs from black people when they fought for the 64 bill. Every single time, Greg, every single time a bill was for us, other people benefit because white people really don't want black African Americans, the racists, not all, but some, the racists, because guess what? Their grandfathers killed themselves over us. That's their mentality, Greg. The white supremacists don't want, listen, they'd rather work around an immigrant, they'd rather work around an African, but a real natural black African descended from those slaves in the Civil War, they don't want to do nothing for us.
Okay.
Not all, but some.
Okay.
And that is the secret, brother. That's the secret.
Well, the reason why the 64 bill, Civil Rights Bill, the reason why they had to add white women to it is because they couldn't get it to pass through the southern states. So they had to add white women to the Civil Rights Bill to get the white Southerners and crackers down south to vote for the Civil Rights Bill. That's why they had to do that. Okay. That's just telling you.
All the white men went home and told all the white women, and at the end of the day, they the ones that benefit from most of this shit.
They did. They
knew how to get to everything that was available because the white man passed it, and he went and told them this is where you need to go, sweetheart.
That's right. And he added his white women also the 3% set-asides. A lot of companies that have white women as owners, and their husbands have been really the real owners. It's all a game, bro. You got to know the game, how to beat them. I mean, look, man. Look, these white boys are not going to give up their economic strength over other races willingly. You have to take it by force from these motherfuckers. The only thing the white man understands is force. That's it. That's the only thing the Asian man understands that. That's why these white boys don't fuck with them Asians, because he got his ass kicked in Vietnam.
Yeah, well, the Asians is buying them out. So you know what? I would say this, and just into what you're talking about. I think there's a sense of desperation. Excuse me, they no word.
Desperation.
Desperation, right? And then you have a paranoia. Why? Because you see people empowering them despite all the hurdles and all the obstacles. But again, this wall is thick, it's tall, and it's got to be broken into. And once you're breaking in, you got somebody else putting the wall behind that. So understand that, yes, you got to try to go over the wall, through the wall, under the wall, Greg. But it's hard when they put it shit under the wall, on top of the wall, and then when you break through that wall, there's another wall, and then there's another wall. So, again, yes, there will be some that break through, and eventually things will change, but it's a fight, brother. I'm just saying, it's different from everybody else, and yeah, there was a lot of handouts. I do agree that the United States should have took back and reflect and say, damn, you know what, we got to do this, and I'm pretty sure they did. But they said, like what all facts are saying is that, man, we don't want to empower these black people because, and not only of the past of the situation, but I think the paranoia and this whole supremacy mindset of I can't see nobody black over me, you know, and the threat of being educated and empowering yourself.
Look, Jay, real quick. You know, everybody always brings up the Asians. Oh, the Asians don't vote. The Asians don't do this. They do that. They're just concerned with this. Man, if we all can think back, we remember when your corner store was always the Asian man?
Right, the vegetable store. That's right.
And then somehow that shit flipped to the Arab man, and the Asian man went to the suburbs and started owning the sunglass spots, the optometrist spots, the flower spots out there in the suburbs. That the white man used to own out in the suburbs. So it's even in our neighborhood, it seemed like, damn, did we not know that business was for sale? Because it seemed like all those businesses changed hands. The stereo shop used to be the Asian dude. Then all of a sudden it's the Arab dude. And it's like, man, it just changed hands like under niggas' noses and shit.
We used to own
all
shit
those
before, though.
Just split.
We didn't. Yeah, but a lot of times too, we didn't get the memo. Again, when we're talking about these Asian groups, these Arab groups, we're talking about special programs that they're doing for whatever reason, and then you gotta also let's not forget that some of these motherfuckers come here with money, or maybe not the ones that are working, like these Chinese restaurants that you see all over America, whether it's in the hood or the suburbs. That's a mafia type of situation. So, but at the same time, those people are able to do whatever they do, and they get the special privileges because they have backing from them. So I'm just saying that America always looks for opportunity on how they could benefit off of you, and again, they don't want the people, the original people from here to prosper, because I think it's a lot of different dynamics to it, but a lot, of course, racism, but you know, this whole egotistical thing, seeing somebody above you and you being looked at as an average person. You know, they want this, if you want to say, this whole persona of the, you know, the most smartest, superior, when at the end of the day, it's really not like that if you even out the score. I'm just saying.
All facts. Look, man, there's a brother in L.A. Brother, he opened up a Mexican restaurant in L.A. There's a black girl, sister, opened up a Chinese restaurant in L.A. I mean, that's being creative to me. Why can't you open up a fucking Chinese restaurant in the hood? You know, or
no, that's cool,
you know?
But you got to also see what was the process, what was the process of her even able to do that, and what was, you know, how did that come about? Because it's easy to say, well, such and such got this. Find out how that went about, and then again, if we could reduplicate that, and because everybody's not going to do that, but for those that are interested in that field and they could learn and get some type of blueprint, people will follow up on shit. Don't think that it's because people don't want to do it.
Look, man, go to the fucking library. Go take some business classes. It's easy. Look, here's how I did it. I'll tell you, it's pretty easy. Man, do you remember Amos Famous Cookies? Remember them cookies he used to have?
We were talking about him. He got jerked, bro.
But you know what? Hey, do you know how he got his recipe? He said he got it out of a fucking cookbook. Okay? That's how he got it, all right? Now, look. Here's how I did it. It's simple. I fucking joined the apprenticeship, journeyed out for 5 years.
Which cookie you talking about?
Famous Amos. He got him out of the cookbook. That's where he did. That's it.
Oh, I mean, famous Amos small cookies? Okay.
Yeah, he got the cookbook. That's where he got the recipe. It ain't brain surgery, bro. I just journeyed out. See, here's the problem a lot of black men don't want to do. You have to master the field that you want to enter in. And a lot of brothers open business, they don't know what the fuck they're doing. You got to master your trade. Know what the fuck it is. Know business. Go to school. Learn. I don't have a college degree. I took classes. Whatever. Learn your fucking trade, for one thing. Be competent in what the fuck you're trying to do. Take business classes and open up. Save money. You probably only need 6 months or a year worth of mortgage or rent money. You got to save that up. You got to have some money on fall back on, and fucking go for it. And one more question, all facts. How come we're not killing it on the internet? Okay, that's neutral. They don't know. How come we aren't killing this black man on the internet? Because no one knows what fucking color you are on the internet. How come brothers aren't like Jeff Bezos and these other Zuckerberg, the other white boys? How come we aren't killing the internet, which is neutral? Answer me that one, all facts. Huh? Yeah, you don't have an answer for that shit. Yeah, that's what I figured.
Oh, hold on. Listen. The internet is not neutral, first of all. Listen, everything now is about having money. So if you want to make an impact on the internet, you better have some money, because the way internet is starting to be controlled, and we spoke about this several years ago, that now is more control like television and other mediums. Now, you can say that, and maybe we say a lot of us missed the wave, if you want to say, when it first started, but a lot of these things weren't in place. And then you talk about a brother like BlackPlanet.com that was way ahead of his time. Then people emulate that whole system, and they are successful. Why? Because they have the resources to do that.
Yeah.
Here comes a black brother that started when there was nobody doing this shit, ahead of his time, put a nice coding situation together, made it popular, and then here comes these other mediums, take them out because they have more investment, they have investors, they have influence. I mean, there's a lot of dynamics to this, bro. It's not just cut and dry. I'm just saying.
Yeah, but you know what, man?
Now, let me say this. Greg, so far back. Now, what Jay said, I don't know if that was Jay that was talking, that was a very good point you brought up, that there are many black men, women, around early 2000s came up with these applications, and it took and went through its course. And when a non-black creates something, was not really too innovative, doesn't look no different, but because he created, it took off because he has the corporate backing. See, the black man, at the end of the day, for the sake of our argument, we have to we have to walk while our non-black counterpart could fly. And not only that, the problem with the community is we don't support each other enough to make certain projects that are existing flourish, because it's going to take revenue. And I'm be honest with you, brother, even with the black, I don't know what Black Spot, all these other outlets, They could have gone further, but the problem is they don't got the financial backup to make it a reality. So, like I said, other outlets will not support your cause if it's going to overrun and compete with other outlets. It's going to take an actual group, collective effort to actually compete, and that's going to require finance, money from within your community, besides outside your community. If you get outside your community, even great, but most likely if they know it's just you building this and it's you controlling it, they're going to find ways to make it hard for you to flourish on the average.
And how about when you invent something?
The whole purpose of capitalism, and especially in this society, is to take out any form of opposing competition. And I'll be honest with y'all, brother. This pandemic took out a lot of businesses, while other ones are already protected by the government. You get me?
Good point.
No matter what you do, you're going to have to support regardless. Because no actual fund is going to support you if you're going to be compared with the bigger corporations that's tax exempt because they incorporate thousands of people. So you're going to do more as a person. Either if you start small trying to get to become bigger, you need the backing of not only outside folks, but within your own community.
How about this? Bankers. What about banking when you talk about getting a loan and how much you have to have as far as credit? And then if you don't have credit, somebody that has to co-sign for you. There's a lot of dynamics, brother. Again, and I say, it's not that it can't be done. It's just a lot of barriers. And when you start something, again, if I'm over here putting out a product and then somebody else hires my people and says, well, I'm going to pay you more or I'm going to be able to, get the inside dope. A lot of those blueprints were stolen. A lot of information and technology and things over the years. This is before technology with the internet. Just do your research on how many ideas was taken and people built companies and then they get thrown out, and blackboard where they can't go to other corporations and retry their business. I'm not saying that's all cases. I'm saying that's a lot of cases that happen. Because if that wasn't the case, we would be in a different situation right now.
Yeah, what you saying,
Jay?
Can
I say something right quick?
Hold on, Yasua. What you saying, Jay, is my thing is I know and I understand that the black dude don't get the same deal as everybody else, and if he ain't dealing with his own, he just ain't gonna get that same. He ain't gonna get it for the same price. There's a price, and then there's another fucking price, and I see that a lot.
Right.
I used to have a clothing line. And I used to fuck with the Asian dude getting my shirts and shit. But I understood that there were other Asian motherfuckers getting the shirts at 30% cheaper than I was getting the fucking shirts. And I was buying the same amount of shit. So it's one thing.
Hey, Greg, I have a request, Greg. I'm sorry, Big OC. I did cut you off.
Go ahead, man. I'm good.
I have a request, Greg.
Let me say this right quick. I was trying to say something.
Okay, go ahead.
No, I just wanted to say that I heard something earlier that, that here's the narrative. That we got to stop saying this narrative that black men fear white men. That's bullshit. Black men don't fear nothing but himself, okay? And that's been his problem. But my point is that the only thing that keeps white males afloat is the fact that they have the resources to do what they need to go out there and do. They don't have nobody holding them up. They don't have, people fighting them, for getting loans and nothing like that. And then let's talk about the white males that have generational wealth from families. So they can go out and do these things because of their whiteness, and not because they're smarter, not because they're more superior, because that's far from the truth right there. So I think that we have to stop saying that the inadequacies of black males come from the fact that he's in a system that where he's doing. It's like somebody said, while we walking, they flying, and I said the same thing. They have 200 years of building over us, of being advanced.
Okay.
Right, and so yeah.
Does anybody's grandparent on the line have a college degree?
No, not mine.
Well, she had a nursing degree.
If some of them did, right? If some of them did,
they were
right. But it's a process for all generations. Just because your generation,
white folks got great grandparents.
Right, exactly. Right,
on
right, exactly.
Yeah.
Right, exactly. And plus, Right, and plus they got a head start because when you have slaves doing the hard work, you have plenty of time to look at the world and study it and become geniuses. When you got slaves working for
you. And let me say this, so back off. Let me say this, back out. And just another thing too. I was going to say this, that black men can do business with white men easily, but the question is, when black men step into that arena and they do business with white men and they're better than white men at what they do, that's a war, because now the white guy says, shit, this motherfucker right here, he out doing what we doing. So and then what they want from black men, and that particularly black males, they want them to be enmeshed in their white world. They don't want brothers to come back in the community and say, hey, let's do this. I can build this. I got to know how to do this, etc. So this is the dynamic that tends to happen with black males. So I think that's what we got to keep this in mind too as well. Go ahead, Orfax.
No, real quick, and Joshua, imagine black males are jealous of each other. Imagine the racial jealousy. Imagine just because I'm for a male, but imagine the dominant male in the society. He's not going to want that other person to come out. But I got a request, and this goes with, guys, I got a request real quick, Gary. I'm just going to play this clip. Gigi wants a request, and she says she wants me to play this for Greg. It's about Monopoly, and it goes on what we're talking about, how the game. So just listen, guys.
Now decided that I wanted to play Monopoly with you, and for 400 rounds of playing Monopoly, I didn't allow you to have any money. I didn't allow you to have anything on the board. I didn't allow for you to have anything. And then we played another 50 rounds of Monopoly, and everything that you gained and you earned while you were playing that round of Monopoly was taken from you. That was Tulsa. That was Rosewood. Those are places where we built black economic wealth, where we were self-sufficient, where we owned our stores, where we owned our property, and they burned them to the ground. So that's 450 years. So for 400 rounds of Monopoly, you don't get to play at all. Not only do you not get to play, you have to play on the behalf of the person that you're playing against. You have to play and make money and earn wealth for them, and then you have to turn it over to them. So then for 50 years, you finally get a little bit and you're allowed to play, and every time that they don't like the way that you're playing, or that you're catching up, or that you're doing something to be self-sufficient, they burn your game. They burn your card. They burn your Monopoly money. And then, finally, at the release and the onset of that, they allow you to play, and they say, okay, now you catch up. Now, at this point, the only way you're going to catch up in the game is if the person shares the wealth, correct? But what if every time you share the wealth, then there's psychological warfare against you to say, oh, you're an equal opportunity hire. So if I played 400 rounds of Monopoly with you, and I had to play and give you every dime that I made, and then for 50 years, every time that I played, and you didn't like what I did, you got to burn it like they did in Tulsa and like they did in Rosewood. How can you win? How can you win? You can't win. The game is fixed. So when they say, why do you burn down the community? Why do you burn down your own neighborhood? It's not ours. We don't own anything. We don't own anything. Trevor Noah said it so beautifully last night. There's a social contract that we all have, that if you feel or if I feel, then the person who is the authority comes in and they fix the situation. But the person who fixes the situation is killing us. So the social contract is broken. And if the social contract is broken, why the fuck do I give a shit about burning the fucking Football Hall of Fame, about burning a fucking Target? You broke the contract. When you killed us in the streets and didn't give a fuck. You broke the contract when for 400 years we played your game and built your wealth. You broke the contract when we built our wealth again on our own, on our bootstraps in Tulsa, and you dropped bombs on us. When we built it in Rosewood and you came in and you slaughtered us. You broke the contract, so fuck your Target. Fuck your Hall of Fame. As far as I'm concerned, they can to the ground. And it still wouldn't be enough. And they are lucky that what black people are looking for is equality and not revenge.
Hello?
Yeah, I heard it. I heard that before.
We didn't heard that. We didn't heard the rendition of that for the last for my whole life. You know, we didn't heard that rendition. You know what I'm saying? It's just, you know, if it's rigged, then it's rigged. And, you know, just like some people say we should do this, we should do that. But really, if it go like she said, none of it fucking matters. You know, I guess it'll be all right for Greg and, you know, for onesie twosies. But for the masses, it's fucked up. Can you agree?
And that's what you fight for. That's why the corns and the nigga need to stop fighting, Greg. That's why I'm saying at this time, nobody should be shit. You should be encouraging, and then you should educate brothers, encourage and educate all this baby mama, daddy. We don't need that shit right now. We need to encourage fathers to get in your goddamn children's life and get a fucking job and get off them streets and working, and encourage the government, give them black niggas good paying jobs and see what that do. That's all I'm saying. Of course, we already heard what she said. I'm done after this. Of course, we already heard, but the problem still exists as a pool, not the Hasididis on this phone, not my bank account. Because guess what? I had to go to war or join to get my kids shit. So I really could be like, I don't give a fuck. But I know that where I come from, and I know why people are the way they are. And they need help, y'all. They need help. Our people need help. And Greg, for you are in a sticky situation than a dumb nigga because you smart. You got the education. We depend on you to come and help these niggas out because we can't depend on the white folks. Y'all coons, y'all got pressure on you. Y'all got y'all shit together. Y'all supposed to build it up. Not saying you got to live around the niggas.
But don't down them.
Don't down them. That's all I'm saying, brother.
You know what, too, you know what, and partly, you know, their philosophy was this in 1789 that their philosophy historically, and I keep, you know, this is why it's important that we understand historical context right here in American history. The fact that their thought process was that a Negro man, it could never rule over a white man. They wrote that in the newspaper. They need to write that stuff in the newspaper. So that's their philosophy, and that's been their philosophy since this inception. See, so one thing that scared the hell out of them that is when they seen slaves come out of slavery, Africans come out of slavery and start building shit and start doing well and start being congressmen and et cetera and all that stuff like that, that fucked them up mentally. What the fuck? What the fuck are we dealing with? These motherfuckers are bad. These some tough people we dealing with, mentally and physically. So their idea was that, again, they wrote in the newspaper in 1789, they wrote this. They said a Negro man can never rule over a white man. They wrote that in the newspaper.
So what?
That was their philosophy.
Yeah, but that doesn't make any sense, man.
No, what you mean it don't make any sense? They wrote it. And so the sister that I'm making to you, hold on one second. Yes, Greg, this is what I'm saying. I'm telling you the dichotomy why they still do what they do. Because in that philosophy of systemic racism and psychological racism and psychological superiority, this is what they have to maintain in their brain, that they can never be ruled by black men. A black man can never tell them what to do. This is why they had an issue with Obama, and he was the most peaceful black guy you could never meet.
He wasn't really.
He was one of the most peaceful motherfuckers you could never run into.
How can you be black falling out of a white woman's ass?
Hey, Greg, can I ask you three questions? Right, Greg. This is three questions that I think the black community should ask me. I'm gonna ask you these three questions. Do you think slavery has something to do with the black community as a pool, its condition now?
Yes.
Okay.
More so
okay. Do you think racism exists?
Yes.
Okay. Do you think America has done enough or has done too much for black people to achieve in this country?
They probably haven't done enough.
Okay.
What the fuck are you talking about?
Now, listen. Those three questions. Now he answered them to me. He answered like a non-coon. A coon would say no to all of them, especially the last one. Well, we did enough. I'm just saying, Greg, what you just said that says that we need. You know the reasons why we're in our personal condition.
Okay, but
that's all, brother.
Now, you have to let me clarify now what I mean by racism. Yeah, there's racism in America. I've been around the world, and I think Greece is. I thought Portugal and Greece are racist too, but I think America is probably number 3 most racist country I've ever been in. I think Greece is kind of racist. Portugal is racist quite a bit. In America, I've been around the world, but yeah, it's racism here. But have they done enough for us? No. But that's where we differ. I want different solutions than you guys for what America needs to do to correct. I would like to maybe have a bit more. I think maybe the older black men should be maybe getting some compensations. The ones above 65. Because they dealt with I actually dealt with more racism than you guys. Okay, I think the older brothers maybe should get something, 60, 65 and older or so, and maybe they should have have more money in the college funds for us, stuff like that. But I don't think we should be getting reparations or a check or anything like that. But maybe college funds.
Guys, hold on a second. Open your line. Yeah. Who's this?
It may be me. Hi, Gary.
Mr. Solution.
Hey, how you doing, Greg?
Pretty good.
Mr. Solution, may you ask those 3 questions too? Can you answer those 3 questions?
I thought, shut up.
I got it in the car. Who's this? Open that line. Who's this? All right. Let me check. The one that opened earlier. What's your name again?
This is Solution.
Okay. What's on your mind, Mr. Solution?
Oh, yes, thank you. Yeah, what I don't know, I offered a salutation. I said hi to Greg and the rest of the crew. I want to revisit the issue of marriage. I heard you
Happy
guys...
Father's Day, Mr. Solution, by the way. I'm sorry.
Thank you, Alfax. Yeah, what I wanted to say, I was thinking about this today, and I looked up that Frank Zappa quote about America. The United States, rather, is a country of badly written laws that are loosely enforced. That's true. That's certainly true. But look here, with respect to marriage, they are enforced meticulously because marriage has become what's known as a wealth transfer today. And unless he gets a prenuptial, and unless he is extremely poor or extremely wealthy, marriage is a bad damn deal. And see, all women have access to the legal system, and they utilize it. So what the legal system will do very knowledgeably is take a man's wealth and transfer it to a woman, and she forthwith wastes it. And they know that. And so marriage really today is a way of disempowering men. So men should be very, very careful getting married unless they have a prenup, and I definitely recommend that. Also, women can have a prenup too, but usually women go into marriage expecting to get a windfall, and the courts will do that. That's what I would say about marriage in the 20%. Yeah, there's some background noise, unfortunately.
Quick question for you, Mr.
Yeah, that's what I would say about marriage in the 21st century.
Hey, Mr. Solution, quick question for you. How much money and what type of assets would you say that you would have accumulated when you'd want to sign a prenup?
That's a great question. Yeah. I would say I has approaching $50,000 or even less. Look, if you have a nest egg, period, one needs to protect it. And remember, the guy that has the least amount of money, but a decent amount to be comfortable and somewhat secure, that money needs the most protection. If you take someone with $100 million...
A year's worth of salary? Are you talking about a year's worth of salary? Are you talking about that type of money?
Yeah. Someone with $100 million can afford to, if they're stupid enough, they can afford to fight it out in court because they're never going to be poor, all things being considered. But if you have a moderate nest egg, say even a couple of $100,000, you're going to blow all of that on attorneys and settlements with the legal system. Go ahead.
Can I talk now? Oh, don't come in like a little girl, Jay. Just go ahead, man. First of all,
let's have mediation, Mr. Solution. Mediation lawyer. That's good to save a lot of money.
I don't know why.
Mediation. That saves a lot of money. Mediation. If you can stick it at the mediation and don't have to pay for those court costs when you get to there, even though you're going to have to pay, that'll cut the cost. So.
But if mediation has to be agreed to by both parties.
I know exactly. I know, right. But most divorces automatically have a mediation. Before you walk in the courtroom, a judge is going to make sure you have some type of mediation. Now, that may be denied, but it's going to be offered to you.
Go ahead, Big J.
No, you know what? I just hang up. I'm tired of this shit.
That's why I cut you off on purpose. He didn't realize that. He didn't realize it.
You guys. But yeah, I think that is, if my mic is still open, I think that is a concern. That's why you have groups like MGTOW and also groups like Herbivore that, you know, men going their own way. They're not homosexual men, but they're just saying it's too much trouble dealing with modern day women. And a lot of men are demonstrating the undesirability of marriage with their feet. They're going to other countries to get women who are more women of the marriageable type, because these women are more amenable to the family structure.
What is the marriage
they're not
type
always
woman?
Challenging the man. You know, when a man goes out, regardless of what ethnicity a man is, when he goes out and has to fight the world, because the world is challenging, he doesn't want to come home and wage war where he should have peace. And lots of American
women. What is
women
the war going to be about, Mr. Solution? What is the war be about, and what do you mean the marriage?
Was this even the topic, bro? Was this even the topic?
I know, it wasn't the topic. We were talking about black
It wasn't even the topic, bro. I mean, was this even the topic?
Greg was talking. We were turning Greg around, and he comes in talking about marriage.
I don't know. You don't understand the full scope of your own topic, because if you get married and
we wasn't talking about marriage, though.
If you get married and the woman wants to take your ass to court, that becomes the topic. And with over a 50% divorce rate, that is the topic. A guy would be stupid if he has any assets to plunge headlong into marriage out of love and be a fool and lose all of his resources.
Right.
Yeah, but the solution, I'm agreeing with you, but that wasn't the topic. We're talking about something totally different than what you're talking about.
What were you talking about? You were talking about marriage, right?
No.
No, we was not.
You weren't talking about marriage?
No, we were talking about the black demographics. We were talking about the government may pass bills for the black African American community as a pool, and coons like you may benefit from it.
You shouldn't be talking about anything until you learn something. You don't know anything about anything.
The solution, watch this. I'm a black engineer. I know that hurts you so bad. The white man considers me a black engineer.
Nothing you say hurts me, all facts, because I know you're
I just said that. It shocks your mind.
You're a crash
and see, listen, like you. See, people like you.
Hey, why don't you make an intelligent statement?
You have a lot of pressure on you. If they pass bills and they need teachers and educators to go in these communities and they're going to pay you well, to educate these boys and you don't? I'm just saying, history is saying that you didn't do it. I'm just saying. So
all right, go back to the
topic.
You say you weren't dealing with marriage earlier. I thought I heard you say marriage many times.
What is a baby daddy, Mr. Solution? What's the definition of a baby daddy?
Hold on, Alfax. Stand down a minute. What I said is that you guys use the word marriage serially. You used it repeatedly, and you say that wasn't the subject?
No, it wasn't the subject. No, it wasn't
the subject. Not for like an hour and a half. Right.
No, let me tell you what the subject was. The subject was when Gary had his show, he was saying, why aren't I think the subject was why aren't black women not being chosen? So he had these statistics. So we was going through the statistics, but the brunt of the conversation went to the ideal, the fact that as black men, where do we come in at? Because as far as we're dealing with race and we're dealing with money, and the ideal of white men having somewhat of a jump, and the ideal was that white men are not more superior, they have something that we don't have, and that's finances. That's what we were talking about. So we're trying to figure out how to become more financially sound so we can compete, because that's basically what it's about. It's community. So it wasn't about marriage per se. No, that's not what we're talking about.
Right. Well, that's not true. Okay, yeah. Okay, I thank you for that. But that's not true either, because I'm going to add another term that gives a clarification to what you were speaking. It's American. Black American men have lots of money. Many of them do.
But we're talking about as a pool. We're talking about as a pool.
In every group in America, there's a class system. There's a tier system. And in each one of those groups, the people from mid-level on up are roughly equal in their power, in their expression. They don't have the problems that many people tend to espouse.
Mr. Solution, there's about 15 million...
But why should we? I'm sorry, all facts. But why should we have a class system? See, black people shouldn't practice what white folk do. We gotta.
Okay, let me answer that. That's a good question. That's a great question. May I answer it?
Go ahead. Yeah.
Right. In any capitalistic system, there will emerge naturally a class system, and the reason for that is some people are more energetic than others. Some people are smarter than other people. Some people will work harder than other people. And as a consequence of those three factors and others, some people will gather more resources. And class hold on one second. Class is identified, of course, by material assets and also education. Usually go together.
Okay. Mr. Solutions. Okay, so when
and I don't want to be a part of your class.
So are you saying class?
Fan-fucking-tastic.
Hold on. Are you saying class within the black community only, right?
Within every ethnic group, you will have a tier system that can be identified as a class.
Okay.
system.
So he said he's the higher class black. I'm sorry, overseas. He said he's the higher class. My bad. Shit.
In fact, will you shut up and stand down, please?
I'm sorry, guys. I'm putting myself on mute. I'm sorry.
Can I get some examples of what?
Oh wait, just shut up.
Do? Can I get some examples of what high class black people do?
Excuse me?
Do you have any examples of what high class, upper class blacks? What do they do? Like what?
Okay, in America, America has it's homogeneous in terms of much of its class structure, and without being wearisome, as it were, they do the same thing. People with resources basically do the same thing. We generally have the same accountants, the same CPAs. I mean, they just do the same thing. If you want to be, kind of mundane, they travel, they vacation, they do what they want to do. That's what resources allow a person to do, is what they want to do. It allows them the freedom to do what they otherwise could not do.
They still, regardless of midterm, they still niggas though, right?
Well, look, if that satisfies you, okay, I feel that that's a very low tier description. But if that satisfies,
it's not.
Hold on a minute. Let me finish. Allow me to finish my statement. If that satisfies you with your worldview, then so be it.
Right.
Well,
what I'm saying,
guys, let me say one thing, guys.
There's still doors that are closed to the rich niggas.
Right, exactly. For instance, see, can I give an example? That's
a very pejorative term, by the way.
No. Let me give you an example, Mr. Solution. Let's say you want to talk about class. Let's say I tell a black man, a black woman, I say, okay, I'm gonna spend $25,000, and we're gonna stay a month out Boulder, Colorado, in a cabin, and and we're gonna watch the spring into the fall, right? I'm sorry, the fall into the winter.
I didn't catch the last part.
No. Okay, right. So if we go to Boulder, Colorado, and I spend $25,000 in a month, right, for vacation.
Okay.
In Boulder, Colorado, most of it is they take pride and say this is a respectable all-white community. But what if we have racism? People harass us, throw bottles, and because they don't want us in that town. Listen. I'm saying it's still something that they're going to say that we're lower class even though we still have money because it's something to talk about, maybe prejudice or racism.
Okay, let me respond to what you just said. First of all, I don't know that what you said is true. That's number one. And number two, I find it hard to believe that an institution that's set up for vacationers would turn down the kind of money that you just expressed. I think you just made that up to try and prove a narrative.
Well, I didn't make it up because because it's happened to Oprah Winfrey and it's happened to a lot of stars that would tell you that they have experienced racism at some point, but I'm done.
I'm glad you said that. Please let me respond to that. Oprah is playing your ass like a fiddle, okay? Because what Oprah is doing is she's just getting recognition for something that she knows is not impacting her. That's a game, all facts. Wake up and smell the damn coffee.
Guys, it impacted her when they refused to sell the poppy fruit to her, brother. That's it.
Okay, if you want to believe that, fine. Because that's given to low-level people who are easily excitable and drama.
No, if someone denied because it's someone with a black, that's a factual incident. A factual, she was denied. She was rejected because of her race. And now you're going to say that it didn't impact her. How dare you say
Hold
that
on a minute.
she did not
You
feel
don't
a certain way?
A damn thing.
You're saying that she did not feel a certain way or all facts. She didn't feel upset or she didn't feel rejected or she didn't feel shocked or she wasn't appalled.
A mind is like a parachute. It only works if it's open. Look here. People will play you. That's part of the game, all facts. Oprah sits down and speaks with anyone whom she wants.
When that man called you a nigger online, ladies and gentlemen, Mr. Solution.
Let me break in for a second, guys. Pause for a second. Go ahead, Gary.
I'm gonna conclude tonight's session. I was hoping to wait for my good friend to pop up. I guess he has some other things, so it's already past the time that I'm on here. So this is what I'll do. I'll end it here. People want to take a sit back a little bit. But like I said, overall, my 5 reasons, simple, the weight, attitude, I guess, sex is one of them. I'm trying to remember the other thing. I would say, I forgot the other 2, but like I said, when you go back to the replay, I lay out my 5 reasons why you ladies have not been chosen. Besides all the other aspects of tonight's stream, as you know, I did go off to other subject topics. But overall, the whole purpose of the show is my layout why you're not chosen. And not only that, it is Father's Day, nonetheless, so, this is for all the black men that doing their thing with their children. So don't take it personal, ladies, But like I said, me and Mr. Faulkner will probably look at this again on another stream. So thank everybody for listening to tonight's show. Be on the lookout for the next stream. Until next time, take care and good night.
Thank you for listening to another broadcast. And like always, comment, subscribe, and like this video. You can also follow me on Twitter at ChaosReign7. This is the summertime, the kickoff of 2020.